Peace to the world, Muntar is here. Hello all. Welcome back to another stream of Zero Escape. 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. Why did that transition twice? Last time we had been on the pathway for the true ending. We found Santa is apparently Zero. He kidnapped June. Kidnapped June, Ace, and Lotus. And we found Snake alive through morphogenetic fields, even though Clover already had, like, the clue on her person, so we could have actually figured it out without morphogenetic fields. And now we're gonna start on, this one. The end of the set of stairs leading down to the ship.
I think these stairs go to the bottom deck.
They leaned out and looked over to the side.
Let's head down.
Hello, Twister. After deciding it was safe, they headed down the stairs. Before long, Junpei and his companions found themselves on the bottom deck. They turned left and into another hallway, at the end of which they found another door. Hello, door. Of course, there was a symbol engraved onto the keyhole, Neptune. It looked like the sort of harpoon one would use to hunt fish, the kind with 3 prongs. Snake traced the shape of it with his fingers.
This is the Neptune symbol. There must be a key around here somewhere.
Neptune key. I only have the Uranus key card.
Literally, I wasn't gonna open this door.
It's a different planet. Plus, it's the wrong kind of key.
Let's turn around and go back for now.
Yeah.
After examining the door for a few more minutes, they gave up and headed back the way they come.
Hey, another door.
Doing good today. There's more! With a little searching, they found a metal door. Hey!
This time.
Uranus. Symbol was engraved on the card reader.
The Uranus symbol.
This is the place.
Apparently this is where Uranus comes in. He muttered to himself, slid the card through the reader. It beeped once and the light of it turned green. Man, can you imagine if Santa had gone through this door instead of the other one? They just, like, get stuck here, just like, fuck, I should have brought Junpei. And have Ace, like, laughing maniacally at Santa, just like, yeah, you failed. Guess who has the key? The person you locked on the other side of the door. Junpei, Clover, Snake, and Seven looked at one another, nodded, and stepped through. Room they found themselves in was full of books. Oh boy, we're gonna find Alice here!
It's totally full of books.
There's so many. I don't know where to look.
It looked remarkably like a library. Not the sort of library where large numbers of people came to read books, more like the sort of library that was simply a place to store books. He felt a little overwhelmed by the sheer number of books, but Junpei did his best to speak with authority.
Right. If we want to get through that door out there, we need the Neptune key. I say we split up and look for it.
Okay.
Alright, Clover, you check those 5,000 books. Seven, you check another 5,000 books. Snake, you, see if you can find any in Braille, Snake. Then again, if we're looking for a key, then, it might be easy to find.
Very well. Sure thing.
Good. Let's get started then. We don't have a lot of time. Hurry.
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge. As he began his search, for some reason he didn't fully understand, Junpei felt these particular words flow through his mind. Seek a way out. Alrighty then. Let's check this piece of paper. There's a note on the table. Lights to the books. What does that mean? Interesting. Well, intelligence often hides itself in darkness. Have you ever thought about the pages of a book? Each page only sees, what, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of light before the reader is on to the next. They spend the rest of their lives locked in darkness. Rather like myself. That's horrible. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining, not at all. I live in the darkness, yes. But that has gifted me with the ability to catch the truths others might miss. I can hear the voices hidden in the darkness, you might say. Handrail is made of metal. It's a coat rack, like a place you can hang coats and hats and stuff. Well, this one's not too big, so maybe just hats. Handrail is made of metal. Hat stand, you can put hats on it. Hat stand, you can put hats on it. Okay. Ernal, Payu, Nedby, and Ophub. What's the deal with these titles? They're all just gibberish. Hey, what if we, like, switch them around? Switch them around? Yeah. If we move them around, maybe they'll spell something. Oh, I get it. Yeah, heck, it's worth a shot. Open here, find bulb. How about this? You can put hats on a hat stand? I know, it's very shocking. Like putting these books in the right orders opened this thing right up. That was a piece of cake. Hooray! You did it, Junpei! I guess that turned out well enough. So the letters from the title spell out, open here, find bulb. And we found a bulb. A powerful light bulb. Paleontology, that's about fossils, right? Ammonites are pretty nasty looking. Mother Nature. Is that some sort of book about hippie chicks? Probably not. Except perhaps tangentially. It's most likely about environmental protection. I was just trying to make a joke. Dude, hippie chicks? Really? The theory of evolution. Heck, even I know this one. That's a Darwin guy, right? Well, yes and no. Charles Darwin wrote a book called On the Origin of the Species. In it, he put forth his theory of evolution. Yes, I remember that part. He called it natural selection. Exactly. Introduction to geology, huh? Thinking about the Earth even when you're on the ocean. Kind of romantic in a way, I guess. Micrographia, huh? Yes, Robert Hooke's famous work, first published in 1665. He built a microscope and examined insects and organic substance and other things too small to be seen in detail by the human eyes. He then drew pictures of many things that he'd examined and published them in a book. I hazard guess the shelf is concerned with natural sciences. This one says Transition of Extinct Species. We need to hurry it or we'll end up in the pages of a book like that. Thank you, Snake. Why did mankind lose their tails? Junpei, do you know what this one's about? Why are you asking me? I don't even know we had tails to lose. Maybe you should just ask a human with a tail. Mankind's ancestors most likely lost their tails as they were no longer useful and the nutrients required to grow them were better put to use elsewhere. At least that's what I read. I was rather young, I may have remembered it incorrectly. Huh. Why the hell would a kid be reading a book like that? Maybe there weren't enough books in Braille. Creatures of the South Seas, huh? This one's got pictures of colorful fish and stuff. Oh, I wonder if... is this... Oh. Ah, it's the same one. Energy theory, huh? I don't even understand the damn title. Shelves all science and technology. Looks called Mind Swap. You could, like, change bodies with someone? I guess I wouldn't mind switching bodies with my brother or Junpei too much, but I'd rather die than let Seven switch with me. What the hell? Like, I'd even want to swap bodies with little Brad, like. Hey, what are you imagining? Were you just imagining it? You were. Shut up! Yeah, well, he wasn't the only one. God. Teletemporation and telepathy. What the hell is this one about? I know what telepathy is, but I've never heard of teletemporation. Teletemporation. It refers to... Kids have some weird interests. Yeah. It refers to having the ability to travel through time. This one says the golden rabbit on the moon. Does it mean it's about a rabbit that lives on the moon? Rabbits are pretty cute, but what's this moon stuff about? It's talking about the Judas tree that is said to grow on the moon, according to Chinese legend. Kitab al-Azif. And they got some weird stuff here. I can't even pronounce this one. Who's that? Some famous guy? It's not a person's name. It's the name of a fictional book created by Abdul al-Hazred? Said to be one of the sources used in creation of the legendary Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon. Oh, so these are all occult books and stuff. Dad Kine. What the hell is this? Wasn't that a German mathematician? Maybe it's a compilation of his work. Owen, huh? Owen isn't enough to go on. Perhaps it's about the English Revolutionary? Sheldrake. Sheldrake? Isn't Sheldrake? There's Sheldrake on the spine. It's gotta be a volume written on the lower part of the spine. Whoopsie. I clicked too fast, I couldn't even read it. Looking in German, looks like it's complete works of something. Never heard of it. Well, if Snake doesn't know, then I don't think we'll ever know. That's a weird book, Junbei. Indian mathematics? That's funny. Why is that funny? Okay. Oh, my books. What? Alarm? Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. What's the deal with this sappy stuff? 100 books of folklore and mythology here. What even just happened? Did we, like, run into Clover or something? Something suspicious on the shelf to the left. This? Bookshelf is glass in the way. Pretty big, but there are only 6 books on it. Seems kind of weird. Looks like there's something on the bottom. I can't really see. The glass is all foggy. Haha, yep, not even gonna try and guess that. 3 light things aren't very bright, though. Didn't we find some really powerful light bulb? Why do you put one of those in the lights? Yeah, well, it's got a bit brighter, but... And 3 lights, I mean 3 light bulbs. Once we replace all 3. Yeah. Where, oh, where could things be? This would be so much easier if you could actually, like... tell what you're supposed to be. I'm going to find the key with the Mark of Neptune. It's like 7 and I don't even exist. A children's story about Native Americans. Don't you think a random book like that seems kind of suspicious? Maybe I ought to hold on to it. Take a look at this. Oh, it's a pop-up book. L-I-L-K. Is from the medieval period, maybe it's about to... I don't think you can find a guy who doesn't exist in a history book. Culture Heritage of Rome, and that's gonna be some serious inheritance tax. Armenian creatures. Seems a little fancy for a prehistoric critter. Not to mention some of those were likely reptiles and amphibians without hair. Can't imagine they had much of perms. It's got nothing to do with this. What's this? Hellenism? And something like a fusion of Greek and Oriental culture? Okay. Oh. Function of the human brain, huh? I guess this is a book about the nervous system? I'd love to ask you to read it to me, but I don't think we have the time. I'm kind of curious about it too. There's gotta be a reason why people connect with each other, you know? This one, it's like the picture book from earlier, the one with the pop-ups. Think they're part of a series or something? They do have the same binding. Steven side. Head. Human anatomy. Regeneration of internal organs. Okay. Anything here? Overview photochemistry. We want to see the cover, not the spine. Let's look at it, okay? Another thing, there's a whole lot of space behind the book. Another powerful light bulb. Any books that look suspicious? Oh, look, Seven, here's a book that's perfect for you. It's called Correlation of Muscle, Bone Density, and Bone Strength. You're just saying that because it says muscle. Shelf has books about the nervous system, like functions of the human brain. This one called Recreation of Lost Human Functions. I think they're talking about, like, lose part of your body and then you can grow it back. I don't think so. Maybe they'll talk about reconstructing abilities that humankind once possessed. In other words, maybe they're talking about cultivating a sixth sense. This thing is narrow. I feel like walking across a... Gee, Snake, aren't you scared? Imagine a wall 20 inches wide that runs along the top of a 10-story building. Could you walk along that wall, Junpei? No way! And what about a balance beam in a gymnasium? Oh, well, that's easy. You don't find that strange? A balance beam is far narrower than 20 inches. Why is that a balance beam poses no challenge to you, but the hypothetical 10-story wall does? The light can easily turn people into cowards. From time to time, a life in darkness can give you courage. Let's try heading back down. LRK popped out of it. Large, round, and kinky? Probably not. Where's the R? Where the hell is an R in this? There is no R! There are two L's, an I, and a K. Another one like that over here. You mean to say, like, prime number theory or analytical number theory or geometry? Oh my gosh, how did you know? Nobody said anything about those. Well, number theory is usually split into 4 chief disciplines. If there was a book of the other... If there's a... Well, I guess that the other 3 would be there. Looks like I was right. The Pythagorean theorem. This is a famous one. Sounds like there are a number of math books in this section. It says Riemann hypothesis. What is there to hypothesize about Riemann? It's pretty straightforward. Heavens no, there are many factors: length, girth, lubrication, and lack of. It's an exciting and rapidly growing field. Whoa! What a dumb joke to make about the Riemann hypothesis. Modern Japanese literature, huh? Does anybody speak Japanese here? Hey, there's another one of those picture books here. Something about this feels kind of weird, you know? It brings back good memories. There's even people like 7 were kids once. Oh shit, you little brat. Guys, cool it. Alright, I'm gonna take this picture book with me. Got a magical wand on it. Okay, so what's inside? Well, aren't you going to open it? Sure, just gonna have pictures. Ah! Another pop-up book. SE-number 5 sticking out of it. I may be impressed. I might be impressed if I was 5. Any of you chumps speak Japanese? God. I like how they did that in how they're doing that in Yakuza 7, just... Oh, English! And then Ichiban just looks directly at the camera and zooms in really close, and then he gives a thumbs up. Okay, none on there. Did I get anything from the shelf? Oh, yes, this is the paleontology shelf. Anything from here? Mind swap. Oh, wait, that's the same one I already picked. We already got that one. We already did that. What's on here? Entry theory, interactions, what else we got? Listening to you read these titles is giving me a headache. Can't say fancy technology stuff and I get along real well. Keep on talking about that stuff and you're gonna put me to sleep. Now the black hole hypothesis, gamma ray astrophysics. This bookshelf has an astronomy theme. Seem to be about history. That's the Lancelot one. We already got the thing from there. Okay, so I think we checked. I think we've checked all of the bookshelves. I don't know where I'm supposed to be going. What kind of world do you think we'll live in if... Oh, no. I already read this shelf. Folklores and myths here. Can't do this yet. On the shelf to the left. Unless it still means this, which I can't figure out what it is I'm supposed to do. I assume it has something to do with this. Middle glass bar, you know, like kind of locking numbers. What the hell is this? It's like they just gave us the answer. Might as well give it a shot. Yeah, I have no idea what it is that they want. Oh. Oh, come on, really? Is it actually that simple? Wow, that's really dumb. Whatever. 6, 3, 2, 4, 1, 5. Yeah. Fair enough. You did it, Junpei! Yay! I don't know why, but I don't feel particularly happy about being praised for that. Whatever, at least the lock's open now. Let's see if we can get it open. Feels like a light bulb. Maybe put it on top of the stands. Oh, yeah. Try putting the books here. Then. This is a little weird. Now we need to put the light bulbs. Shield rake 5. Oh, shield rake. Yeah. Good job, buddy. There's something projecting on the bottom of these letters. They seem familiar. Okay. Shield rake. Got a number in the lower part of it. Did I... Oh, okay.
Drake 5?
Okay, apparently I had to click on that. Whatever.
I think I saw the rest of this collection somewhere.
Back to here. You may have read the text out loud.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around here.
Let's go take a look.
Okay.
Seven and Clover walked off, leaving Junpei and Snake behind.
Sheldrake.
Have you heard of him? Sheldrake, I mean.
No. Junpei grinned.
Lotus told me about him.
Wait, is this the morphogenetic field guy?
There's a
Oh.
British biochemist named Sheldrake. He has a rather interesting theory. Morphogenetic fields,
God.
which relies on
Whoa,
the
whoa,
theory
whoa, whoa.
of morphic resonance.
Really? From Lotus, huh?
Yes.
Well, Clover also said something to me about that stuff.
She did?
Yeah, what was it?
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things.
The first is epiphany.
First is epiphany.
The second
and
is
the other
danger.
is danger.
That girl. I told her not to tell anyone.
You did? Why?
Because I don't trust you.
Well,
Junpei's eyes narrowed.
I didn't push it because we're in a hurry, but I'm kind of sick of this. How about you just tell me, okay?
tell you what?
Don't give me that. About the experiment.
Snake's shoulders slumped and he shook his head slowly. He'd finally given up.
Very well, fine. I'll tell you everything. But not here. Let's move to the top floor.
Okay. Junpei nodded. With that, they climbed to the stairs to the top floor. Snake was silent for a moment after they arrived, and then finally crossed his arms and spoke.
I suppose I might as well start by telling you why I kept quiet, and why I made sure Clover did as well. To be honest, the explanation is quite simple. Zero told me not to. I had little choice. He
Okay.
didn't walk up and tell me, of course.
It was in your note?
He gave me a message engraved on a card.
Snake reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, stiff piece of paper.
That's a Braille card. It looks just like the one you showed us earlier.
'Cause it is that one,
So you
actually.
had 2 cards.
No, only one.
Huh? What do you mean? I thought that card just had some rules for the nonary game on it.
No, I made that up for shits and
Yes,
giggles.
it did. And those were the rules I read you. However, they were not the only thing on the card. There was
Oh.
something I didn't read. Well, perhaps I should say there was something I couldn't read.
And that was?
Tell no one of the events that took place 9 years ago. Tell, and I activate your sister's detonator.
Oh.
It's a threat on our lives.
Oh. Well, Well,
Snake nodded.
What about Clover? Did she get a message from Zero too?
I don't believe she did. But doesn't it strike you as strange that Zero would shut my mouth, but not hers?
That is really weird, actually.
To be on the safe side, however, I told her it was best not to tell anyone. Still, apparently she told you. That girl.
What's wrong with her telling me? I figured some stuff out with the things she told me. I mean, it looks like the whole activate her detonator thing was just a bluff.
Might have been.
She's prancing around downstairs happy as a clam now that you're back.
Yay! Are clams really that happy, though? Snake glanced down at Clover and Seven, examining one of the bookshelves.
That's very true. I've decided I can trust you. I've decided to tell you the truth. The chance that Santa is Zero is very high.
Yes.
I feel I can assume Santa doesn't have the time to observe us at the moment.
Mhm.
And at any rate, even if he were, I very much doubt he would kill us.
Why?
Clover told me about the 4-leaf clover, about the words. If he knew about that, then he was in my group during the first experiment. I'm sure of it. He wouldn't kill us, no matter what the situation was.
Snake paused and cocked his head as though he were listening to something very far away. His face looked dark, as though something was weighing on him.
Hey, Snake?
Junpei wasn't quite sure what to say. Snake turned and looked at him.
Yes, I know. You want to know what happened during the experiment.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
How much do you know?
I know morphogenetic
told me
fields.
about.
2 groups, one in Nevada, one on a boat.
I see. The morphogenetic field in the experiments 9 years prior. How the experiments had taken place simultaneously at 2 locations, one being the ship and the other being a building in Nevada. And the girl that died during the experiment.
Yes.
She told you all that, did she?
Snake looked down. His face was tight. Slight tremor shook his body, and he tried to hide it. He was putting on a good front, but even Junpei could tell he was holding back something deep and powerful. He made as if to brush something from his face, and looked up at Junpei.
At any rate, I now know how much you've learned. All that remains for us to determine
Is who did this and why, right?
yes.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yes.
Snake nodded
The
slowly.
people who organized the initial experiment were from a company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals. There were 4 of them running the show. Gentaro Hongo, Nagisa Nijisaki, Teruaki Kubota, Kagechika Musashido. Hongo was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals.
And we already know who that is.
Nijisaki was his right-hand man and did the lion's share of the planning. Kubota led the company's research and development division. Musashido was their majority stockholder. It was these 4 people who planned the initial experiment. Let me simplify it for you. Hongo designed it, and Nijisaki put it all together. Kubota developed the technology required, and Musashido provided the cash.
Money!
So it's Hongo, Nijisaki, Kubota, Musashido.
Junpei couldn't shake the sense that he had heard those 4 names somewhere before.
Of course, more than 4 people were required to conduct an experiment of this scale. To that end, they organized a top-secret team to assist them with their research. All in all, they gathered 10 people or so. Those 10 completed their team, and they were able to begin the project. They named it the Nonori Project.
Oh no.
The purpose of the experiment was to research the prospect of controlling a human mind through sheer will. The vessel, I suppose you could say, for this control was the morphogenetic field.
Huh.
Why did the glycerin suddenly begin to crystallize? Why did the crystal structure of EDT undergo a sudden change? Why did the rats improve their puzzle-solving skills with each generation?
Did we hear that one in this timeline?
Experiments with humans produce the same results. The more people who knew the answer to a question, the more there were who could answer correctly without having seen the problem before. Why is that? How could it happen?
Morphogenetic field,
The
son.
shape of the answer has been stored in a field invisible to the naked eye. And through that field, the resonant event transmits information related to that answer.
Yeah.
That's essentially the idea behind morphogenetic fields.
Okay.
But that's just a theory.
A nonary theory. Thanks for watching.
Can't bring yourself to believe it?
Yeah, I kinda do.
Let's say someone killed
In this
another
game, at the
person
very
because
least.
the devil told them to do it.
Mm.
Whether the devil exists or not has no relevance to the murder.
That's a good point.
They believe the devil exists. Whether or not he does is immaterial.
So what matters here is that Hongo believed in the morphogenetic field.
That's right.
Snake
I
nodded.
still don't get it. You said they wanted to figure out how to control people, right?
Yeah.
That is what you were saying.
Yeah, they were going to control people with morphogenetic
Yes.
fields.
So how are they going to do that with a morphogenetic field?
Very carefully.
I'll keep it simple. Let's suppose 10,000 people have solved a certain problem. The chance of you knowing that answer, even if no one has told you, will go up.
Okay.
Let's have another example, shall we? Say 1 million people were to do a handstand right now.
Everybody do a handstand.
Tomorrow, the chances of you doing a handstand would be higher, even if you had heard nothing of this hypothetical mass handstand.
I love this statement. Even if you heard nothing of this hypothetical mass handstanding. What a stupid image.
Mankind's thought process and actions are all part of a resonant event. All of the resonant events encoded in the fields are projected onto you. Of course, this assumes you believe in this theory. Do you follow so far?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Why do I feel the sudden urge to do a handstand?
Now, if there was a person who had the same effect as those millions of people, what would happen? If that one person were to do a handstand, other people would find themselves wanting to do handstands as well.
Oh boy.
Can you imagine what a person with powers like that would be able to do?
Make people do handstands? Imagine if they couldn't actually do a handstand, so their power was completely useless. It's like, have the power to force other people to do handstands if they also do a handstand, but they've never learned how to do a handstand.
Come on, there's no way.
I'm not done. Imagine another scenario. Imagine another person.
Okay.
This is an ordinary person, Let's say he does a handstand.
This person's ordinary. When he does a handstand, it doesn't matter.
What if there was someone who could grab the resonant event he created by doing that and use it to make other people do handstands? What would happen then?
A lot of people would be doing handstands. We would no longer walk on our feet. We would only walk on hands.
A person who has the power to write to the field, and someone who can read from the same. You could think of them as the writer and the reader, or the transmitter and the receiver. What would the world be like if there were people with abilities like these?
Junpei thought about it for a moment.
So the transmitter's resonant event can be transmitted through the field and sent to the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And then the transmitter can control the receiver however they wish. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Yes. Close enough, at least.
Come on, that's just crazy.
Well, if you want to prove that, then you'll have to test it first. At least, that was how they thought.
So let's get a bunch of kids and put half of them on a boat, half of them in
That was why they
a
decided
building in
to do their
Nevada.
Experiment. That was how the Nonary project began.
Snake suddenly looked very serious.
By the way, Junpei, have you ever heard of the Gansfeld experiment?
No. Cleared his throat and tried to act
Yeah,
calm.
that was an experiment in telepathy, right? You place a pair of subjects in separate rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Then you show one a picture and ask the other what they see.
Interesting. I'm impressed. Yes, that is exactly correct.
So, why did you bring up the Gansfeld experiment?
Because this is the exact same thing they're asking.
It was used to screen subjects for the Nonary project. The hospital in a remote town was affiliated with Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Hongo used it to conduct experiments on visiting children in secret. Some of them, he found, had potential. He began to gather children that showed promise. Children that seemed as though they might be able to access the field. Of course, none of them volunteered. They were kidnapped.
His face barely moved as he spoke.
There were 9 pairs of siblings taken, for 18 children total. For reasons that were not fully understood at the time, each pair had 1 transmitter and 1 receiver.
Oh, at the
They were
time,
split
okay.
Perfectly. As such, the 18 children were split into 2 groups of 9. The children who were put into Group Q were the ones who excelled at transmitting.
Mm-hmm.
They were transferred to the mock experiment building known as Building Q in the Nevada desert. The children who excelled at receiving were put in Group A. Group A was then placed on the former hospital ship Gigantic.
Why would you name one group Q and name the other group A? Oh, and never mind. Never mind, it makes sense. Group Q, we're getting the questions. Group A, we're getting the answers. That makes sense.
From the experiments he had conducted so far, Hongo had learned the following. There are 2 things that can increase one's resonance with the fields.
Danger and epiphany.
The first is epiphany. The other, have you ever been faced with an especially difficult problem and thought about it very long and very hard until finally an answer suddenly appeared in your mind?
No.
It may seem obvious to say so, but that is what is meant by epiphany. The information obtained through that epiphany can be easily transmitted through the fields, where it can be easily interpreted.
Mm-hmm.
Adding danger to that equation allows for even easier field access. That's where Hongo came in. They set up a number of puzzles across the Gigantic. The participants had to solve each one before they could move to the next room. Of course, he hadn't forgotten to include danger.
And did he have bracelets as well?
He had detonated a bomb on the hull of the Gigantic. The children in Group A were forced to play the Nonary game as the ship sunk. By forcing the children into a life-or-death situation, Hongo hoped to increase the likelihood of their tapping into the field.
Yeah, no, actually, we do know that he had bracelets because he told the ninth man about that.
The children from Group Q, on the other hand, were confined to the mock experiment building, Building Q. Building Q duplicated the interior and puzzles of the Gigantic exactly. Every detail was exactly the same. Hongo explained the situation to the children in Group Q. Solve the puzzles you find throughout the rooms. When you have the answers, transmit that information to the children in Group A.
Uh-oh.
If you succeed, They will be able to solve the puzzles and escape. But if you fail, then the gigantic will sink, and your brothers and sisters will drown. Those were his orders. Do you know why the astronauts of Apollo 13 were able to return to Earth safely? It was because NASA had access to a replica of the Apollo 13 capsule.
Yes.
All of the equipment, the instruments, everything. All of it identical. Everything was just like the real Apollo 13.
Yes.
NASA was able to replicate the situation the astronauts found themselves in. By putting themselves in the same situation, they attempted to solve the problems the astronauts were dealing with. Once they found solutions, they reported their findings to the men aboard the actual capsule.
Okay.
That was how they were able to return safely.
Yes.
It was the same with the gigantic and building Q.
Except they didn't have actual radios, they just had to use morphogenetic fields. What happened if the people in Group A just happened to be really, really good at puzzles, and people in Group Q were really, really bad at puzzles?
The children from Group Q had to use the power of epiphany to solve the puzzles they found, and transmit what they learned through the fields. The children in Group A, however, they had to access the fields to learn how they might advance to the next stage. That is the simplest explanation I can manage.
What if Group A managed to solve, the first, 10 puzzles really easily, and then they're, stumped on the final one, whereas Group Q, they just couldn't even figure out the first one? Snake sounded defeated. His half-hearted attempt at desertion served only to show how much of the story had affected him. Just as Junpei was about to speak.
Hey, Junpei, Snake! How much longer are you two gonna sit around on those bony asses? Get down here already!
Oh, but I like the story. Seven's voice echoed from below. Snake took a deep breath and blinked rapidly, as if just waking from a long
He's
nap.
right. Let's go, shall we? We don't have much time. We need to get out of here, and soon.
Yeah, fair enough. Snake headed for the stairs, but Junpei put an arm
Hold
to
it.
stop him.
There's one more thing I want to ask you.
Hmm?
Are you sure that there were 18 kids?
Mhm.
Why?
Well, I thought it was only 16.
Oh, yes. That was what they said on the news, wasn't it?
Oh.
Yes. I have no doubt that 18 children were abducted and used in Hongo's
We're talking
experiment.
plot here, man.
After all, you couldn't exactly play a nonary game with any less, could you?
Snake, we're literally playing a nonary game with only 8 people. The first one died immediately. We've been playing this entire nonary game with 8 people.
Well, yeah, but are you saying that the news got it wrong?
Yes, I am. There were 2 more children. However, they had no relatives that I'm aware of.
Oh.
I imagine no one filed a police report when they went missing. They were brother and sister, like Clover and I. The brother's name was Aoi. The sister's name was... Her name was...
Snake couldn't seem to bring himself to continue. It looked as if what he was about to say brought him great
Her
pain.
name was Akane.
Wait, what?
That was the girl who died.
Junpei felt as if he'd been punched in the stomach. His vision went blurry and his head felt light.
Akane Kurashiki died?
Okay, we didn't say Kurashiki. We just said Akane. Akane isn't an uncommon name.
9 years ago?
Junpei, calm down.
Then, who is June? No. That's impossible. It can't be true. Akane isn't that uncommon of a name.
See, there you go.
If Snake had known her last name, that's a different matter entirely. So they share a name. A lot of other people do too. It doesn't mean anything.
I'm not the only Junpei.
It was someone else. Of course it was.
Were there like 10 people minimum at the start? There were 11 people, I think. Because Guy Axe and the captain. Junpei shook his head hard and pulled himself back into reality.
Is something wrong, Junpei? Your breathing sounds strange.
Then Snake had noticed. Junpei cleared his throat and tried to act calm.
No, it's nothing. I'm fine. Let's get back down there, alright?
Snake raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. He headed down the stairs. You would think Snake would be like, I literally just told you about a life or death experiment I was a part of, and now you're trying to hide things from me? Really, Junpei? Really?
I couldn't do it. Why didn't I ask? What's her last name? I just
Oh.
couldn't get the words to come out.
Every step he took, the cold, hard sound of feet against metal dug into his heart. Alrighty. Sheldrake, this is a shadow picture I was pointing to. It didn't say 5 in the shadow picture. Yes, I think we need to find the 5th volume. Well, would you like that? A big red button right behind this book. Guess we should press the button. Alright, fair enough. What was that sound? Sounded like something really big was moving. It came from the top floor. Alright, let's go check it out. There we go. Uh, 13, 14, 10, 13. Bet you gotta type something on the keyboard. Yeah, but you can only enter letters. Looks like you can only enter 4 letters. Let's see how it works. Enter when you type in the letters. Okay. Give it a shot. Oh, wait. 13 is... Okay. It was 13, 14, 10, something? Okay. Oh, never mind. Here it is. 13. That should be... That's A, B, C. So it should be D, E, A, D. Wow, what a password. What a password. Yay! You did it, Junpei. It's unlocked now. Good job, Junpei. Oh there, don't get too excited. Password was dead, remember? Just makes me think whatever's waiting for us isn't good. So what? Jeez, you're such an old lady. You couldn't be worrying about stuff like that. I mean, come on, we got it to unlock, didn't we? Let's go, hurry up. Thick metal door. There's a handle in the middle of it. Damn it, can't get it open. This thing won't even budge. Put in the password, else what do we have to do? And that means the other door. Alright, let's open this thing. Why was there another door? What was the point of the other door there? The door opened, and Junpei and the others leapt through it.
This is the next.
Just as Heaven was about to finish his sentence, their attention was drawn to the clang of metal ringing out behind them.
Oh, the door!
They spun around. The door they just come through had slammed
Did that
shut.
just close on its own?
Yes.
Don't tell me we can't go back.
I don't know. Let's see.
Let's see. Junpei grabbed hold of both hands, pulled with all his strength.
Damn it. It looks like it locks automatically.
Welp.
Is there any other way out?
No.
Well, there's another door over on the right. There's a card reader next to it. It's got a red light on it, though, so I'm pretty sure it's locked, too.
But there is a card reader, right?
Yes.
Then perhaps if we find a key card, we could open the door and leave?
That would make sense.
Well, yeah, that might work, but...
Hey! Wait a minute. Are you saying we're gonna have to search through this room for one little card?
Probably.
Oh, man.
They took a second to look at the room they found themselves in. Wow, there's a whole bunch of reds and deads everywhere. It was piles upon piles of all manners of things. The only word they could describe it was chaotic. It was like a tornado passed through, followed by a giant who had picked up and shaken the entire room a few times.
It's that way.
Junpei's heart
No
fell.
way!
For real?
For real? Wilbur and Seven looked as though they were about to cry.
Well, we can sit down and wait to die, if that's what you prefer.
You know, I'm kind of weighing my options, and...
I rather doubt that, however. So it would be wise to start looking. We haven't much time. Let's find that key card. Oh, and the Neptune key as well.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
We won't be able to get through the hallway without it. All right then, let's begin.
Thanks, Snake. Boom, 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 boom. There are piles of crap everywhere, and this place is a mess. It's so messy, I don't know where to start. Some of this crap looks familiar. I think a lot of these parts are puzzles we solved in the room. If that's true, then, this room could be Zero's laboratory. Perhaps Zero should shut himself in his room to devise the machines and puzzles he'd need to see his plan come to fruition. Just a pile of junk. There isn't anything useful. Yeah, that's the map. Hey, Junpei, isn't that a nautical table? Yeah, I feel like I've seen this before. New material's been added to the screen, to the file screen. Gosh, that disc is really big, and it feels really sturdy. It does seem pretty heavy duty. I suppose it belongs to whoever uses this room, wouldn't you say? Control panel, big screen here. Wonder if any of these buttons do anything. Screen now. What's this? There are 15 cells and 15 cells with letters and numbers in them. Let me see that. I see. So whenever you touch a cell, the ones next to it turn on and off. Just gotta use that to make the all cells on the right and bottom green. Hey Junpei, I found this piece on the floor. You want to take a look at it? I think maybe I have something to do with a puzzle? Piece of paper Clover gave me. There are a bunch of numbers and letters connected to equal signs. Like you said, this is probably related to the puzzle on the screen somehow. Thanks, Clover. This really helps. Alright, let's go back and try. Just make all the cells say all. Okay. So, D plus 6... Okay. That was... well. Okay, actually, let me see how this works. Okay, so I need 6 and 4 up here. 6 and F here. I need all of them on there. Do. Okay. Dang, that won't... actually, no, that won't work, because this will turn off after that. Okay, let me actually just try and figure this out real quick, instead of just pressing things at random. Okay, so... That's 13... This... D can't be on, at all. So, 6 and 4... You get everything equal to... You get that equal to 10. You get this equal to 21. This also needs to equal 10. This is 1 there, right? Yeah. Ooh, that was... This is actually a bit... Actually, no, it's not close at all. Nah, I'm a liar. Dupe. There we go. You did it, Junpei. You're so smart. You seem to have done an excellent job solving the puzzle. Just what I expect of you, Junpei. Hey, come on, you're embarrassing me. Oh, don't get cocky, kid. We don't have time for that. Look at this. Check out the right edge of the control panel. Let's let them something came out. Cross emblem. Oh, okay, so we need 4 other emblems, it seems. I think there's a lucky emblem around here. Commander's part of the screen is really dim. See the map of the world. I see. Interesting. I think you just need to turn the device according to the nautical instructions. Okay. Wrong button. Study nautical table. So, south. South. West. Southeast. Northeast. East. North. East. Can I turn this? Junpei, there's a wheel over there. That should work with like a steering wheel. I'm too poor for that. Stealing? That might solve my money problems, but I'd rather not. Oh, right, you were in the chart room, weren't you? There's a puzzle like this in the wheelhouse. You can figure out how this works just by looking at the compass. You need to find just like the other one. The other one? The important part is the nautical table we just found. I have to match the direction of the compass with the lines on the nautical table. Use the steering wheel in the wheelhouse, but this time I'm going to use this wheel attached to the side here. Okay, then show me. Now. Of course. Maybe I ought to run through the instructions. Just turn the direction. Yep. Okay, so we need to start off with south. And then west. Then southeast. Then northeast. East. North. And east once again. We did it! You did it, Junpei! Good boy, who's a good boy? Knock it off! Hey, we don't have time for screwing around right now. You got right into the monitor. Just kind of slid open, something came out. I heard a noise too. You know that big box in the hall by the exit? I think it made a noise. Like something unlocking, you know? A noise, huh? Got the helm emblem. This one? Something written on this piece of paper. It looks like we got 3 sheets of stuff. Morse code chart. Oh goodness, that's gonna be fun. You can already tell. Let's head to this monitor. See what happens when I... Whoa! Well, we got something on this screen at least. Huh? What is this? Wait a minute. Saw something like this figured a Morse code puzzle in the communications office. Morse code? Yeah. The dots here look like the bits for Morse code. There are 2 dots on the first line, 4 on the second, and 1 on the last. Ah, I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, perhaps you should give it a shot anyway. Alright, I'll try. Before I do that, though. Run through the instructions. Once you enter the answer, I'll be determined if I got the correct answer. So what am I supposed to type in, though? What am I supposed to type in, though? Pretty sure those were all dits. No. Yeah. I don't know what this is supposed to actually give me. I don't know what the actual thing I'm supposed to be typing in is, though. Let's open it. Wow, that actually worked. Holy shit. Pretty damn creepy. There's a coffin here. A coffin? Coffin. Oh man, does Seven think? Yeah, he's all pale. He's thinking the same thing I am. No way. Could this be? I'm sorry, but what's going on? It's a coffin. I wonder if there's a vampire in it. Right, I guess Clover and Snake don't know the story. And I can't bring myself to tell them. Well, at any rate, let's have a look around. There's a metal plaque on the cover. Snake's touching it. All ice. Ah, the two machines. Holy shit. Man, this is serious. Oh, well, let's open it then, shall we? Clover, if you could give me a hand. Okay, I got it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Huh. No luck. It doesn't seem to be ready to open. Yeah, it's not like it's screwed or anything or something. Yes, I believe it's locked in some other way. Hey, Snake, you think you can open it with your superhuman strength? Or 7? No, What's wrong? I think I'll just pass on this one, okay? What the heck? Very well, we'll just have to give up for the coffin for now. Let's look around the room a little more, shall we? Alice sleeps in a small chamber, blah, 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 blah. Is it actually true? Bye, Alice. Piles of crap everywhere. There's some pretty impressive mass. Try and search every one of the things we're gonna be able to kill till the cows come home. Doesn't seem to be too bad. We wouldn't have to bring them in. Well, that doesn't seem to be too bad. We won't have to bring them in ourselves then. Don't you get smart with me, kid. How about we deal with this area later, guys? Maybe we should try something more promising. Yeah, I can't do anything with that yet. I'm not finding where it is I'm supposed to be doing with this. Looks like the word it's supposed to go here has 3 letters. Got 3 lines, and each of them is 1 line. I see. Well, if that's the case, the results you need are made up of 2 symbols, 4 symbols, 1 symbol, respectively. After all, isn't that what you just said? Yeah? Is it gonna be all? Is it gonna be ice? Please don't actually be ice. It's gonna be ice, isn't it? It totally is. Of course it was. So you solved the puzzle, Junpei. Excellent work. The answer was ice. How did you know? All I had to do was listen to the sounds the machine made. After all, this is a trivial matter to decode them. Ah, yes. I believe I heard a noise from somewhere on the right side of the device after you solved the puzzle. It sounded rather like something sliding open. Do you see anything that could have made that noise? Well, that's true. Ah, yes, one more thing. I heard a sound from behind the shutter. Perhaps the coffin is unlocked now. What? There it is. I'm just like, why am I not getting to the shutter right now? Alright, fine, let's open it. Junpei, you can do this. It's just a box. It's just a box. Holy shit, there's a coffin. There's gonna be something horrible inside. I just know it. Okay, okay, deep breaths. Here we go. Ah! Oh man, there's nobody in there. Shit, can't believe I was scared of something like that. What do you mean nobody? Were you expecting someone to be in there? Yeah, it's a long story. Ask Junpei about it sometime. Well, just like Seven said, there's nobody in there. There is something in there, though. Well, two somethings, actually. What is that? Got the Neptune key and the emblem. Play with emblem on it, and the Neptune key! Yes, we finally found it! Now we can get through the hallway. That's correct, Clover, but we do need to get out of this room first, you know? Yeah, I know. Okay, let's get the hell out of here as quickly as possible. Don't have any objections to that. No objections, right, lady? I think we'll use the Neptune key in this room. It's really important to keep it in my pockets. The other thing... Bye, Alice. Oh, wrong one. This is what we need. Nothing's happening. Wait, what's Snake doing? I feel symbols engraved just above each indentation. The upper right is the steering wheel. Upper left is the cross. Oh, upper left is steering wheel. Right is cross. Bottom is mysterious circle system. Lastly, the waffle pattern. Symbols given the number 1, steering wheel, 2, cross, 3, circle, 4, pattern. Insert the symbols in that order. Whoa. Well, now we've got some monitors at least. What's that? Looks like some kind of puzzle. I wonder if these are the rules. Here, I'll read them to you. When you touch a number area, that area will be selected and it will turn blue to indicate this. Touching a number ball after selecting an area will cause the ball to move to that area. However, you cannot move the red balls. You can only move 3 to 5 balls in a single area. Press the check button once you move all the balls, except for the red ones, which you cannot move. The digital root of the balls in the area must match the number for that area. That's it. I still don't really get it. Looks like they say practice makes perfect, let's give it a shot. Don't you mean practice makes perfect? Hey, let's see you solve the next one, then you can make fun of me. Okay. So... 1, 2... Oh, wait a second, I didn't want that. I didn't want those and that. One, 2... 6 and 3. That didn't work. Oh well. Oh, wait, did it? Yay! Okay, then that's it, right? But nothing's happened. There's still 3 more indentations at opening. Doesn't it seem likely? I think Cross was second? Anyway, somebody showed up on screen. This puzzle sure looks like a lot like the last one. There's more of those red balls you can't move. And each area are different too. It's got the same rules as the last one, though. You sure you don't want to double check that? No, I'll be fine. Make it confusing, just look at the screen over there. Like they say, picture is worth 1,000 words. 1,000 words. Let's give it a shot. Isn't that a picture is worth 1,000 words? Hey, shut it! At least I'm trying, alright? Poor Junpei. Okay. If we can get 10 into here... and nah, yeah, this works. That's awesome, Junpei. There are only 2 left now. You can do it. I think Waffle was 4th. It looks like the last ones. The rules are the same. Don't you think you're double checking? Come on, it's the third time I've done it. I'll be fine. This, if you can't think of anything clever, please don't strain yourself. You might hurt something. Shut up. Just give me a break, alright? I'll think of something. 7 and 7. Okay. So I need to get 16 and 16 then. And yeah, no. You get back. And doop, doop, doop. And check. Excellent work, Junpei. You've only have one more left. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. See the indentation, put the coffin indentation in this. Fourth one. This puzzle looks a lot like the last couple. It's probably the last one. Once we solve this puzzle, I'm sure something will happen. Alright, I'll solve it in no time. You didn't even try for something clever that time, Junpei. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, what? This one... Doesn't this one not work, though? Yeah, combination will not open the door. But there isn't a combination that will... Cannot use that number. I can't get that. Rules are displayed on the screen. Maybe I should read it again. Touch the numbered area, select and turn it blue. Touching a numbered ball after the arrow causes it to turn blue in that area. Cannot move the red balls. Can only move 3 to 5 balls in a single area. Digital room must match the number of the area. So small. I wonder where that is. Got no idea. Which one do I click for this? Let's give it another shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, am I supposed to get them all into one area? Oh, that actually, that makes sense. Huh, where did that noise come from? Underneath the keyboard. Way to go, Junpei! You answered all the questions! Damn, Junpei, good job. Hey, did you hear something just now? Yes, I heard it as well. From the bottom left corner of the desk, I believe.
A picture.
Yay! In the drawer was a single picture. He picked it up. It was a photograph of 4 men.
What the?
Involuntarily, Junpei's eyebrows shot up. He'd seen 3 of them
What the
before.
hell is this man with a mustache on the right.
It's Cap!
He's the same guy we found murdered in the captain's quarters.
Hi,
He had
Cap.
the 0 bracelet on his left arm. And this second man with the glasses and a doctor's coat.
It's the ninth
The
man.
9th man. The one with bracelet number 9.
The one who
He
blew
died
up.
after he went into door 5. But this guy, the one in the striped suit. Oh man, that's Ace.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I guess it is.
No doubt about it.
7 and Clover had come to peer over Junpei's shoulders.
But what does it mean? What is Ace doing in this picture? Not only Ace, the 9th man and Cap too.
Through process of elimination, the other guy's probably Guy X. Her smile suggested that they were close, at least, to some degree.
And they look happy, like they knew each other well. Why? How? How in the world are these 4 men connected?
Gee, if only we knew who Ace actually was. Snake's voice broke into Junpei's thoughts.
You say Ace is in that picture?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it was taken recently, though. Ace, the 9th man, and Cap all look about 10 years younger.
Ah, So the ninth man and the man you found murdered in the captain's quarters are also in the picture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else? Or are there only 3 people in the picture? I'm afraid I can't see it.
No, there's one more guy. He's got kinda long hair, he looks smart, but a little cold. He's the only one I don't recognize.
Well, you've seen him before, Junpei. Snake knit his eyebrows.
What's the date of the photograph?
It doesn't have one.
Did you look on the back?
The back?
Did you actually look at everything on this
Yes,
photograph?
The reverse. The other side.
Junpei flipped the picture over.
Huh.
There it was. It wasn't date, but it was certainly significant. He read it out so that Snake would not be left in the dark.
Praying for the success of the Nonary project. With Nijisaki, Kubota, and Musashido.
Nonary Project, Nijisaki, Kobuda, and Musashido. Junpei immediately flipped the picture back over.
Then the 4 men in this picture were the organizers of the Nonary game 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Since Hongo wasn't mentioned, Junpei figured that could only mean he'd written the words on the back of himself.
That means Ace, the 9th man, and Cap were all responsible for making it happen.
Yep.
But I feel like I should be more shocked about this. It's almost as if that's just how things were always supposed to be.
That their true identities did not come as a surprise was what Junpei found most surprising.
Why am I not surprised?
Because we found that out already.
Ace was the one in charge of the Nonary project. But then why? Why am I so calm? It's like I already knew.
Yes, you did.
Ah, of course. I understand now.
They were trying to make everybody do handstands! Junpei looked over at Snake. In his own confusion, he missed the dark look on the other man's face.
Ace was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. He was the one who invented the game 9 years ago. He was Gentaro Hongo.
Yes.
Ace is Hongo?
Even as he asked, Junpei felt as though he already know. Almost as if someone had whispered into his head that, yes, of course Ace was Hongo.
I had my suspicions from the beginning. Their voices were similar. Too similar to be a coincidence. I could never forget his voice. It was the voice of the devil. I couldn't be sure, though. After all, I had no way to check. I certainly couldn't ask him.
Hey, were you the person who kidnapped me 9 years ago?
Even if I had known, however, I would never have told you. Zero made it quite clear what would have happened if I did.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Huh?
I didn't know that Ace was Hongo.
Oh, yes. I suppose you wouldn't have. 9 years ago. You were in Building Q in Nevada.
Yep.
But Hongo was in the Gigantic with us.
I know. That's why I didn't know what Hongo looked like. But why? Why didn't you tell me? I mean, I'm your sister, right? You could have told me.
I'm sorry. I apologize for keeping this from you.
I didn't want anyone
But
to know.
if I'd told you, Clover, you would have told everyone else. And if you did, then I would have been forced to tell them about what happened 9 years ago. I had to prevent that.
Clover and Snake's conversation wasn't of particular interest to Junpei. He still couldn't make sense out of his strange feelings of knowledge. He was trying to organize his thought when he heard Seven's voice.
Hey, Junpei. You think I could borrow that picture for a sec?
Sure.
Okay. He had no reason to say no, so Junpei handed the picture over. Seven stared at the picture and began to mutter the 4 names of the project's leaders over and over to himself.
Hongo, Kubota, Nijisaki, Musashido.
His brow was furrowed, and his face was flushed.
Kubota, Nijisaki, Musashido.
He chanted their names to himself, pacing back and forth across the floor.
Hongo, Kubota, Nijisaki, Musashido.
Seven couldn't have known their names. Seven shouldn't have known their names. After all, he hadn't been there when Junpei and Snake had spoken of them in the library. But as Junpei watched him pace, it was clear that he did know them.
Seven, do you...
Shut it. Just be quiet.
Okay. His eyes were red, and Junpei could see sweat beginning to bead on his forehead.
I'm this close to remembering. This close.
This close. He was sweating heavily now, but his lips were dry.
Hongo, Kubota Nijisaki Musashiro. Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Nonary Project.
Then he stopped. Seven set down the picture and looked at the red light near his feet. His eyes narrowed. Then suddenly, his eyes went wide and he shot up straight.
Shit.
What?
What's wrong?
Holy shit, this is nuts.
What's nuts?
I remember
Remember what?
everything.
Everything?
Everything!
Yeah, I remember all of it. My memory's back. I remember what happened before I got snatched.
Seven's voice was filled with excitement.
What?
Shock and excitement had frozen Junpei in place, along with Snake and Clover.
Let me tell you what happened.
Seven hastily drew a shaking hand across his mouth and began to speak.
Like Snake said, Ace is Hongo from the right. The other three are Musashido, Nijisaki, and Kubota. Musashido was the man with the cash. Nijisaki was Hongo's right-hand man, and Kubota developed the actual technical details of the experiments.
Okay. Realization began to dawn on Junpei, along with a pressing
How do you
question.
know all this?
Come on, man, I told you, I finally got my memory back.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm trying to ask you why you knew all this stuff in the first place.
Yeah,
before you forgot it.
That's a good question. Seven rubbed the scar on his chin.
You really want to know?
Of course.
Me too.
Snake was the only one who didn't voice any sort of agreement. Snake didn't care. He looked at Junpei as if he were simply waiting to see where Seven's sudden recovery might take them.
This is gonna take a while. Hell, it'll probably take me a good 3 days to tell you everything.
Well, we don't have 3 days.
I don't know. We could find a place to sit.
Just give us the short version, alright?
Short version, huh?
Big man pulled off his hat and scratched his head. He made a face and put his hat back on.
Alright, fine. I'll give it a shot. No promises, though.
Junpei and Clover nodded earnestly.
I'm a detective. It's a little awkward to say this about myself, but you could probably consider me a lone wolf type. I hold to my own code, as I think doing what's right is more important than doing what you're told.
Okay.
That's why I followed my gut that night. A slim lead brought me to the wharf. It was 9 years ago. The wharf had been cold as fuck, and I could barely see squat. I was investigating a mess of kidnappings, all of them children. It all had one thing in common. A history of visits to one particular hospital.
Owned by Cradle
The hospital
Pharmaceuticals.
Management of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. And my investigation had turned up evidence that Cradle had been involved in the kidnappings. After a little sweet talking, I managed to finally get a real lead from someone inside Cradle. My source told me this.
Tonight, a ship is set to take the children to a large passenger liner docked offshore.
So I headed to the wharf. From the shadows, I searched the harbor until I found the ship he was talking about. There was a bunch of movement near it. Men in black suits, many of them were carrying large bags. The bags. There was something about the way they moved as they were carried, no doubt about it.
There were
There
humans.
were human beings in those bags. I moved before I realized it. I came out of hiding with my gun already in my hand.
Don't move.
I felt metal touch the back of my head.
Drop the gun. I could kill you right now. It'd be easy to get away with it, too. Just tie an anchor to your feet, and no one would find you for a week. That what you want? The fish here would love a meal.
He kept digging the cold metal thing into my skull. There was nothing I could do. I did what he said and laid my gun on the ground. Then suddenly, there was a sharp pain in my neck. A needle.
A drug?
That was my last thought. My face hit cold concrete. I was out like a light after that.
Shh. Night, Seven. Hope you have a good night. Happy you have a good nap.
I woke up on a hard floor. Damn it. Shit, my head hurts. I did a quick once-over of the room. Where am I? A small, shabby bed, a dirty sink, a toilet with no privacy. I'd seen it countless times as a cop. I'm in a cell, huh? Facing the toilet was a door set into the wall. I was still pretty woozy, but I made my way over to it. I pushed and pulled on it, but... it Won't open. Not like I expected much else.
Fair enough.
Would be dumb enough to put me in a cell and leave it unlocked. Threw myself against the door a few times, but it wouldn't budge. I knew it. I gave up and made my way back to the bed and sat down.
And took a long nap.
Huh. I sat there for a very, very long time. Who knows how long. Then, I heard a faint voice. The voice was far away. I couldn't understand what it was saying.
Said there, over there, it's the 9 door.
But I could hear one. It was pretty high. Probably a little kid. Huh? No, it was several. I hear 5, or 6, maybe more. Where? Where are they coming from? I pressed my ear to the wall and tried to listen through it. No, that's not it. Left. It's coming from under the bed? I hauled on the metal frame and flipped the thing over. And there it was. The bed had hidden an air vent under it. The hole in the wall was covered by a metal grate.
Can you imagine, like, the, whatever cradle person, like, threw 7 into the cell, and then, like, afterwards they realized, just like, oh shit, he escaped through the grate.
I dropped flat on the floor and peered through the grate. I couldn't see shit, but I knew it in my gut. This was where those voices were coming from. Hold up. Why are there kids here? But then what my inside man told me popped into my head.
Tonight, a ship is set to take the children to a large passenger liner docked offshore.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Am I on that ship?
Apparently.
It didn't matter. All I knew was I had to get to those kids. I checked out the metal grate. Could I fit?
How the hell did he fit through that vent? Yeah, no, 7 should not fit this through this
Stepped my fingers
vent.
in and grabbed it. And then...
The perfect imagery. Perfect sound effect for,
How do you like that, you son of a bitch?
I'm glad that they made the toilet the backdrop for all of that noise.
I finally got the damn thing off. Sweat was dripping down my face, so I wiped it off and crawled inside.
7, we asked you for the short version. I don't think you really needed to mention about your sweat, like, and you're just like, oh man, I was sweating so much, I swiped it off my face and then crawled inside. You could have just said, like, I removed the vent and went inside. The grunts also weren't that necessary.
The first bit or so was tight. I had a wriggle on my belly. It wind up eventually, and there was space for me to crawl along on my hands and knees. I went from crawling like a worm in dirt to skittering like a bug. Couldn't say it was much better, but I'd take what I could get. And when I'd been in the thing long enough...
7 is actually an octopus. Then why didn't he have the number 8?
A massive sound nearly scared the piss out of me. It was like a heavy metal door had just been slammed shut.
Nearly scared the piss out of me. I realized partway through there I really should have actually used that toilet.
Then there was a voice.
Another emergency incineration command. Wow, this emergency incineration is a lot kinder than the one that we saw in the save timeline.
What? I wasn't sure what it meant, but anything with incinerator is bad news. Then, almost as if that was a cue, I heard a mess of young-sounding voices. A bunch of them were straight up screaming in terror. And all the sounds together made a howl that made the hair on my neck stand straight up. Damn it! What the hell is going on here? I scrambled through the duct as fast as I could. I made a giant racket, but I didn't care at that point. I soon found a metal door on the left side of the duct. The kids were screaming on the other side. I found it. I yanked the handle and threw the door open. I almost ripped the metal off his hinges. What the hell is this place? I couldn't believe what I saw. The room had a dome up top, and there had to be about 9 walls, all the same size. Up in the ceiling was an upside-down funnel, almost like a chimney.
7, this isn't important for the short version.
Look down. There they were. The kids I'd been searching for. They all gawked up at me, suddenly silent. For the moment, from surprise and fear. Scared of the room or me, I couldn't tell. Probably both, actually. Not like I can blame them running into a mug like this when they're already scared shitless. I snorted at my own dig at myself and turned to the kids. Don't worry, kids, I'm not your enemy. I'm one of the good guys. All of them stood there, frozen. Well, except one. He was a boy, slightly older than the others, in a private school uniform.
Who the hell are you?
He stepped forward and glared at me suspiciously. I'm a detective. I'm here to rescue you. It looked like they relaxed some the second I got the words out.
How are you gonna help us?
Where's the exit?
There isn't one. The doors we came in through won't open, and the door over there...
He kind of cut himself off. I think he was considering something before he changed his mind.
Anyway, there's no point. We can't all get out of here. If we don't get out of here, we're gonna be burned to death.
Burned to death?
Can't you hear it? That voice said the incinerator's gonna start up soon.
Mm-hmm.
So...
The voice spoke again.
Incineration will begin in 15 minutes.
They only had 15 minutes. I looked back down at the kids. Looks like a good 20 or 30 feet to the floor. No way I could pull them up. Too big of a distance for any of us to reach. What the hell was I gonna do? But... Wait right there! I'm gonna be right back!
What? Where is he going? Are you just gonna leave us here?
They just got frightened again. I'm not the best at that kind of thing, but I tried to reassure them with a smile. Don't worry, alright? I'll be back, I promise. So just stay calm and wait right there. Got it? I didn't wait to hear them respond. There wasn't time.
No, there wasn't. Did he go back for the bed with, like, the rope? With, like, getting bed sheets?
I could on his hands and knees. Didn't take me long to get back to my cell. Still no way out of there, but I had a plan. I needed something from the room.
Bed
When I got
sheets.
it, I dove back into the hole and took off towards the incinerator. Then... Sorry to keep you waiting, guys. I tipped out the doorway and dropped down the rope I brought with me. Back in the cell, I'd torn the bed sheets into strips and tied them together to make a rope. It was sloppy, but it got the job done.
Yep.
All right, just tie that around yourself, okay? I'll pull you up one at a time.
Right.
Huh. Wait a sec. Something was off. There were more of you before. Where'd the rest of you go? The boy in the uniform answered.
I let them go on ahead. We opened the number 9 door and they left.
What? You're telling me you opened that door?
That's what I said.
Then what the hell are you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't go with them.
Why not?
Look, the only people who can go through the numbered door...
He was in the middle of explaining when...
5 minutes.
Incineration will begin in 5 minutes.
Hey, I got it.
The wall shook a bit from the voice bouncing around.
If this is the short version, the full version must take hours to tell. He said it would take 3 days.
All right, just get us out of here.
That's a fair point.
Right! I grabbed onto the rope. The first one I pulled up was a girl with a ponytail. Next was a girl with a red necktie.
7, we don't need to
The boy in
know
the
this.
jacket came after. He said he'd climb up on his own. The boy in the uniform was the last up. Like the other kid, he climbed up the rope himself. He looked pretty scrawny, but I guess he was stronger than he looked. He moved fast, but when he was almost to me, we heard some knocking. Everyone looked at the door. It had a thick, square window set into it. On the other side, an angry face was staring in.
God damn it! What's going on here? Why is the room empty? Where the hell are those fucking kids?
The door opened, and a man stepped in looking half mad with fury. I recognized his face. I saw him many times in photos during my investigation. The man's name
Gintaro Hongo.
was Gintaro Hongo, the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Hongo saw the boy hanging from the rope. Yeah! was like he was an animal. He lunged for the rope.
It could make a story last 3 days. Fair enough.
I know!
The boy in the uniform booked it up the rope.
You son of a bitch! Get back here, you little shit!
15 feet. 10. The second I could reach the kid, I grabbed him. I hauled him up and tossed him into the duct behind me.
No! No!
Hongo had lost it. His face didn't even look human. It was like the bastard pulled off his fake face. He was really a terrifying devil or some kind of damn monster.
Wonder how long this exposition actually is.
Quickly
That's
reeled
fair.
in the rope, leaving a furious Hongo yelling at me from the floor.
You fucking bastard! You won't get away with this! How dare you compromise this experiment!
Can you imagine how insane you must be as a human to tell somebody, how dare you save children from burning to death?
Experiment? What experiment?
Incineration will begin in 1 minute.
Hey, old man! What the hell are you doing? Hurry up!
The boy in the uniform was trying to get my attention. I may have thrown a salute in the raging asshole's face before I closed the door behind me. No point to going back to the cell, so we went down the other direction instead. After about 30 feet, we came across another duct on the left. This one was heading down. Everybody nodded and took turns sliding down it. The duct emptied us out into a narrow hallway. There was a door on either side. The one on the left was a normal double door. But the one on the right was familiar.
It was the incinerator.
Black and yellow stripes, and a device next to it on the wall. A plate on it read, Incinerator. Incinerator?
Yeah, that's where we were.
It was the girl with the red tie who answered me. We were inside an incinerator?
Yeah, Hongo might still be there. It looks like it's been shut off, though.
Wait, what? If he's still in there...
Yeah, that's not good.
That meant we'd better... We gotta get out of here. Go to the other door, hurry! The kids started running, and I was close on their heels. On the other side of the door was a large spiral staircase. Run! Didn't need to tell them twice. We went up and up and up. Our feet pounded the steps, our arms pumping fast. We went round and round and round like the devil was on our tail.
Well, the devil was.
The stairway kept going. We passed a couple of landings when the boy in the uniform suddenly spoke.
Something's up. Akane's not catching up to us.
Akane?
My kid's sister. The girl with the red necktie.
Akane. Akane. That's strange. I didn't remember seeing that name on the list of missing kids.
Hey! Akane!
He kept his hands around his mouth and yelled.
Maybe we outran her.
The boy in the uniform skidded to a stop.
I'm not sure if maybe I skipped that bit of dialogue.
I stopped too, and so did the other two kids. When did we do that?
Well, we passed a couple big rooms on the way here. Maybe she took a rest in one of them?
No, that's impossible.
Sorry, Grandpa. You keep going. I gotta go look for her downstairs.
He turned to go.
Hey, kid, wait! God damn it, I said wait!
I don't think the kid even heard me.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck! I spun around to the boy in the jacket and the girl with the ponytail.
I'm going after him. You two keep going, all right? You got it?
The girl nodded and ran up the stairs. But the boy...
I'm going with you.
I didn't have time to argue. I just nodded and took off down the stairs. I ran all the way to the bottom floor, calling.
Girl's just like, nah, screw you, I'm running away.
No...
God damn it, where the hell did she go?
I could tell the kid was frustrated. And then suddenly...
Help me! Somebody help me!
We heard a girl's voice.
Akane!
The boy in the uniform threw open the door and leapt into the hallway by the incinerator. We rushed in after him. I couldn't for the life of me believe what we were seeing. That bastard Hongo had Akane by the arm and was forcing her into the incinerator.
What an insane idiot. What an insane bastard. Just like, no, you will burn to death.
Come on, goddammit, move!
No, I don't want to! Let me go, please! Let go of me!
She planted her feet squarely on the floor and was struggling to get away. But Hongo was bigger and stronger. She wasn't gonna win.
Akane!
My brother roared with anger and charged toward Hongo.
Help me!
You're too late, idiot.
What a delivery.
Hongo lifted
You're
Hongo
too late, idiot.
through her, still fighting him, into the incinerator. Before we could even blink, Hongo had leapt through the door after her. We saw him land inside. And then, the door slammed shut. We ran to the door. We did everything we could think of to get the thing open. But
Fuck! It's no use! The goddamn thing won't move an inch!
he started slamming his fists against the door.
Mm-hmm.
He was close to shattering his knuckles with how hard he pounded on it.
Akane! Akane! Are you okay?
You came back!
Of course we did.
Muffled, but all of us could hear the sheer terror in it.
What should I do? I think I'm trapped in here.
Where's Hongo?
He went out the other door.
What?
Warning. Warning. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged.
Oh, not again.
Automatic incineration will take place in 18 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately. Repeat. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's the same damn thing.
Are you there?
Yeah, we're here. Just hang on, alright? We're gonna figure out a way to save you.
His words would have seemed like a sick joke to her if she'd been able to see how white and bloodless his face was right then.
Incineration will begin in 17 minutes.
Please help me.
Aww.
I'm really scared. I don't want to die, please. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
It's gonna be alright. I'll figure something out. I promise. I promise, okay? You hear me? I promise!
It was torture listening to her sobbing on the other side of the door. Her brother was nearly crying himself. He could only stand there, fists clenched so tight his knuckles were white.
It was silent. All they could hear was the creaking of the boat as it shifted into the water. They waited and waited, but Seven didn't continue.
What happened then?
Junpei couldn't wait any longer. He had to know. Seven looked at the floor.
Come on, man. Put yourself in my shoes. It doesn't end good. You think I want to remember that?
No.
Then...
Yeah. Shit. If I'd known it was gonna be like this, I almost wish I hadn't remembered.
Seven shook his head. But there was something Junpei had to know.
Hey, are you sure?
Huh?
Look, I don't want to ask this either, but there's something I don't get.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could just tell me, did that girl, Akane, really...
Seven stared straight ahead at nothing.
Yeah, I'm sure. There wasn't anything we could do. After a while, the countdown ended, and we heard something... burning. The fire stopped, but we still didn't move. Me and the jacket kid were frozen. The boy in the uniform collapsed as if he couldn't hold himself up anymore. A few minutes passed. The door opened. The boy in the uniform tripped over his own feet running in. We followed, too numb to speak. The air in the incinerator was hot. Every breath made my lungs feel like they were on fire. It was like standing on hot asphalt. The air was wavering, and in the middle of the room, there it lay. The kid's legs were shaking so bad, I don't know how he managed to walk. I couldn't see his face, but his body somehow looked empty. Finally, he reached it. He fell to his knees as his legs gave out on him. And then...
Junpei felt a cold lump form in the pit of his stomach. A feeling of sickening anticipation washed over him. He could feel his body shivering. He desperately did not want to know the answer. He feared he knew already, but he had to ask. He had to know for sure.
Can I ask you one more thing?
What's that?
The girl, Akane. What was her last name?
What does it matter to you?
Just tell me, okay? Please?
Seven looked at Junpei curiously, then ran his tongue quickly over his dry lips.
Kurashiki.
Oh no.
Her name was Akane Kurashiki.
No. No. Then who's June? Something inside of Junpei stopped. He had no more words left. He had no more left. He had no more Junpei left. He was just a shell of flesh and bone. Seven turned to Snake.
You were there that day, weren't you? The tall kid in the jacket. That was you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. You are correct, Detective.
Junpei's mind was blank, withdrawn from the world. Somewhere far away, he could hear Seven and Snake talking.
Don't misunderstand me. I told you before how Zero threatened me. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't say anything about what happened 9 years ago.
So you're saying you're not working for Zero, right?
Of course not.
Clover, what about you?
Hey, come on! You really think I'm working with Zero?
I was in Nevada.
I told you before, you idiot! I was in Nevada, in Building Q. I did hear that a detective rescued the kids on the boat, but I didn't know it was you.
Her surprise seemed to be genuine. Seven regarded Clover for a moment and rubbed his chin thoughtfully.
Well, I guess I believe you.
Clover nodded.
All right, let me ask you another question.
He stuck his hand into his pocket, took a few steps. Then he stopped and turned to face them again.
Santa's real name is Aoi Kurashiki. He's Akane's brother.
Wait, what?
You know that?
No, I didn't. Did you?
Well, yes. I know Aoi Kurashiki was her brother, but I didn't know he was Santa. At least not from the beginning. 9 years ago, he was in the middle of puberty. His voice is entirely different now. I'm ashamed to say that even my exceptional hearing wasn't able to make that connection.
His voice is entirely different from now. He's still voiced by Sean Chiplock.
As such, I had no reason to think Santa was Aoi.
When did you figure it out?
Clover told me that Santa might have been one of the subjects of the initial experiment. It was only a short while ago, while we were leaving the library. When she told me that, I had a feeling.
Santa is Aoi? Akane Kurashiki, June's brother?
That spark caught flame in Junpei's leaden mind, and then the fog began to clear. Like an engine beginning to turn, images and thoughts began to coalesce in his mind, coming faster and faster, forming bigger images, bigger thoughts. Junpei blinked. He was back.
There's still a lot we don't know. I mean, like, a lot.
Should I mention that, June's real name is Akane Kurashiki?
But there is one thing I think we can say we know.
What's that?
The body we found in the shower room. It had to be Nijisaki.
Yeah.
Dressed up to look like Snake.
What?
Come on, man. What kind of detective are you? You didn't figure that out already?
Hey, go easy on me, man. I just got my memory back, all right? Cut me some slack.
Well, if he is, the 3 murders make sense then, don't they? Yeah, that's right. Murder. Kubota blew himself up, but that was murder too. So why did these murders take place?
If Junpei is correct, and the body in the shower room was Nijisaki's,
Then Aoi is doing this out of, for revenge.
that means all of the people who were murdered were involved with the creation of the Nonori Project. Kubota, the person who conducted the actual experiments. Nijisaki, Hongo's assistant. Musashido, the man who financed the project.
You mean this was all just revenge?
Yeah.
Santa is Zero. He's getting revenge for the death of his sister. That's why he killed them.
No, I don't think Santa actually murdered anyone.
In fact, Junpei didn't think he knew. He couldn't explain why or how, but he had no doubt that Santa killed no one. Perhaps the madness of the last several hours was finally driving him insane, but Junpei had ceased to be surprised by his sudden knowledge and had even begun to accept it.
If I'm right, then it's not hard to figure out who the next victim's gonna be, is it? I'm pretty sure I don't have to tell you.
Yeah, Ace.
Yep.
Right.
Snake, Clover, and Seven all nodded.
The next target will be Gentaro Hongo.
The person who planned the Nonary project.
In other words, Ace.
There was a moment of silence,
What?
and then the room shook. From far away, they heard the sudden rush of water.
What the hell's going on here?
It must be 6 a.m. Our time is up.
Shit!
Come on, we need to get out of here.
How?
In the drawer that had held the picture was a keycard. Junpei grabbed it.
I'm betting this sucker opens the exit. Come on, let's go.
New material's been added to the file screen. Keycard 0 with a 0 in the middle of it. 0, 0. God damn it, Zero's just screwing with us, isn't he? Yeah. Let's swipe this card. Junpei, look, it's unlocked. Yeah, now we can go back to the library. Hurry up, Junpei, we don't have time. Let's go. Alright, let's go. You found it! Yay! Oh my goodness, there's still so much. Door open, they stumbled into the library.
Huh. I think the shaking stopped.
It would seem so, but we are yet to be out of danger.
You're right. Let's hurry.
They ran across the hallway.
This exit needs the Uranus card, too.
Straight for the large metal door. Next to the door was the Uranus card reader.
Hey, Junpei.
Yeah, I know.
Not only do we still have to do this, we still have to do the knife ending. They slid the keycard and the door rumbled open.
It's open. Let's go.
Out of the library and into the hallway they ran. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this tonight. We might have to go for... we might have to do this Thursday, too. Junpei reached into his pocket and pulled out the key as he ran towards it.
Okay, Neptune Key. Let's see if you work.
He turned it.
Yes! I think it unlocked.
The lock clicked. As one, they shoved the door open and poured through it. In front of them was another great metal door. Above them was a metal plaque.
It says incinerator, so this is the incinerator.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I've seen it from this side, but yeah, I think so.
Then there ought to be a lever near the door.
Yeah, right here.
Junpei ran up to it.
Pull that and the door should open.
Got it.
As he spoke, he pulled the lever. Pull the lever, Kronk! Right lever! The motor in the door groaned as it slowly ground open. There was no time to waste.
Go.
As soon as the door had opened far enough to admit them, all four dashed through. Then suddenly, before them, there were four who they had parted from earlier. Ace and Lotus stood in front of the number 9 door. Santa was curled into a ball against the wall of the incinerator, holding his stomach. And then there was June. She sat slumped against the wall, exhausted.
What the hell is going on?
Junpei ran towards June. He skidded to a stop in front of her and knelt down.
What's wrong? Are you okay?
Her face was pale and her lips dry. When she spoke, he could barely hear her.
You came to get me.
Of course I did.
Of course I did. I made a promise.
I'm so glad you're here. So glad.
She mumbled the same words over and over, weakly. Junpei could feel his heart breaking.
Hey, what happened to you?
I'm fine. I just fainted. I wasn't feeling very good. I'm feeling a lot better now, though.
Aww.
Are you sure?
Yes. I just need to rest a little longer. I'm sure I'll be fine. You shouldn't worry about me.
She was looking toward Santa. Junpei turned to look as well.
Santa.
Santa grimaced, his face contorted in pain. 7 grabbed him by the collar and roared at him.
Hey, where is it? Where's the gun? You hide it somewhere?
Despite himself, a grunt of pain escaped Santa's lips as 7 shook him.
Don't have it.
Ace does.
I got sucker punched and they took the gun.
What? Who took it?
Ace did.
What? Isn't that obvious?
I took the gun.
We're back to this image. Yay! He did indeed have the revolver in his hand. It was pressed against Lotus's temple. Ace had her pinned to him with the other arm, and she was shaking visibly. Her fiery attitude was gone, replaced by fear. She didn't dare speak. There was sweat on her forehead, and when her eyes weren't flickering to the gun pressed against her, they seemed to desperately to want to say something.
Just what the hell do you think you're doing, Ace? Or maybe I ought to say Gentaro Hongo, CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals?
7's deep baritone rumble shook the walls. Ace sneered.
You have me at a disadvantage, and I don't like that. You know me, but I don't know you. Do you have any idea how much I've suffered? Can you even begin to understand my pain?
The pain I suffered as I watched a child burn.
The pain of prosopagnosia, right?
Junpei's voice was casual, or at least it was trying to be.
Another irritating insect. And how do you know that,
I'm psychic.
Good question.
That's actually the answer, though. Junpei couldn't say. He just knew. Another unexplainable mystery.
No matter. If you don't want to answer, it makes no difference to me. This is a waste of time anyway. It's time for me to go.
Behind Ace, Junpei could see the red. It was placed in the small indentation on the wall. Quickly, Ace placed his hand on the scanner.
First is 1. Give me your hand.
It beeped, and he forced Lotus's hand onto it as well.
8. And with this...
Then at last he reached into the pocket of his jacket. He pulled something out and pressed it against the panel. The third asterisk appeared on the red.
9.
The thing he had used for the final verification was the bracelet with the number 9.
The 9th man. Kubota's bracelet.
Yep.
I believe I've won this game.
His smirk made Junpei's blood
I've
boil.
had quite a time playing with you. I must thank Zero, I suppose.
Wait, what? Ace doesn't know who Zero is.
Junpei's eyes flickered toward Santa. He hadn't moved since they'd entered the room. Santa was still holding his stomach and groaning as if in immense pain. Junpei wasn't sure if it was real pain, but he wasn't sure it wasn't either.
What the hell are you planning, Santa?
At any rate, this game ends now. I will escape, and the rest of you will have a slightly less pleasant ending.
No.
I suggest you enjoy your final moments. Goodbye. Wait!
Ace, of course, paid no heed to 7's request and laid hold of the lever on the red. With a sickening sense of finality, he pulled it.
What? Why isn't it opening?
There was only one what?
One more time.
Lotus tried to take advantage of Ace's confusion, managed to twist herself out of his grasp, but... At the last second, he grabbed hold of her wrist and shoved it onto the red.
Open.
He waved the number 9 bracelet over the red and then his own bracelet as well. He pulled the lever a second time.
No! What is this? Why? That digital route should be 9! It has to be 9! Then why? Why isn't it opening?
Because you're a failure, Ace. Have you tried working the shaft? Ace's fury and confusion had overridden all other thoughts. He had set down the revolver. It was just below the red.
Now.
7 chose that moment to act. He moved far faster than a man of his bulk should have been able to, and he launched that bulk straight at Ace. It was over before they knew it.
No!
In the blink of an eye, Ace was on the floor. He rolled onto his side, groaning in pain. Lotus ran straight for Junpei. She darted around behind him and stuck her head out, making sure to keep Junpei between herself and Ace.
Oh, that was close. Too close. Thank you, Seven.
I don't think Junpei would be much protection for Lotus. I think you could probably beat up. I think you would probably be more protection than Junpei would be.
Don't mention it.
Seven stood over Ace, his breathing slow and heavy.
Just one punch ain't enough for this piece of shit. After what he did 9 years ago, I ought to rip him to pieces. But if a suspect can't talk, they ain't much good. Once he's locked up in a cell, we're gonna have a little chat.
9 years ago? Then you must be...
Yeah, you finally figured it out, dumbass.
I'm the guy who stole those kids from you. Ace planted his hands onto the floor and shook his head. Junpei walked towards him. He stopped and looked down at Ace with pity on his face.
Ace, you killed Kubota, Nijisaki, and Musashido, didn't you?
Wait, Nijisaki?
Peered at Junpei, genuinely confused.
Oh, right. You don't know yet. All right. We'll just go through them in order then. Let's start off with Kubota. You talked to Kubota and managed to convince him to go into door 5 alone. You killed him without making it look like you killed him. The way I figure it, you had 4 motives.
All 4? Junpei, you remember the 4 motives? Oh, thank you.
In the nonary game, the number 9 is dangerous. Whoever had the 9 bracelet could join whatever team they wanted. Adding 9 to any number doesn't change the digital route. Which means that number 9 could do whatever they wanted. You wanted to remove that threat as soon as possible. 2. You wanted the number 9 bracelet for yourself.
You would think that that would just be the same motive.
So that you could make use of its power. In fact, you did use it in the murder of Nijisaki. 3. Even if his number hadn't been 9, Kubota was a problem. He knew your past. He knew what had happened 9 years before. You needed to silence him before he told anyone. 4. But last, and perhaps the most disturbing, you used Kubota as a test. You wanted to know how serious this nonary game was. Was it truly life or death, or simply a harmless prank?
Yeah, 1 and 2 should have been just 1 point.
You convinced him to break the rules so you could see what would happen. That was why you killed Kubota. But he was only the first. Next was Nijisaki. While everyone was off looking for the missing parts for the Reds, you ran into Nijisaki near the big hospital room. However, because of your prosopagnosia, you didn't realize he was Nijisaki. Chiefly because, when you met him, he was dressed like Snake. That was why you thought Nijisaki was Snake.
No, that's not... That was Nijisaki? Why? How did...
I'll get to that. Anyway,
I'll explain later.
Snake. Snake was one of the kids in your experiment 9 years ago.
Apparently so was Santa, though.
You remembered him because he was the blind kid.
Oh.
But his presence made you think. Snake was one of my subjects 9 years ago. He probably hates me. But if that's true, why isn't he saying anything? Is he keeping quiet because he can't see? Or perhaps he's working with Zero to get revenge on me. Whatever the reason, anyone who knows my past is a threat. Before he tries anything, I need to get rid of him. That was when you decided you had to kill him. The murder weapon was Kubota's bracelet. You just waved it over the Red. Verified your own number and then grabbed Nijisaki's arm and forced it over the scanner panel. Then, when the door opened, you kicked him in. 9 seconds later, the door closed. And then 81 seconds passed. And poor Nijisaki was dead.
Was he really a poor Nijisaki, though?
Say, Snake is still alive?
Yeah, I'm right here. Hello, Ace.
Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm as good as new. Thank you for killing the wrong man. But I can't say I like knowing that you wanted me dead. Although, to be honest, even if you hadn't tried to kill me, I would still hate you very much.
Well, I wouldn't blame you.
I wouldn't blame you. I'm kind of an asshole. Junpei kept his emotions in check and continued.
Last but not least, let's talk about Musashido's death. When Clover and I were investigating the chart room, you came over to talk to me. Do you remember what you said?
Oh, a pocket watch. Might I take a look at it?
Sure.
I handed it to you, and you left the room. You had been in charge of the Nonary project. Of course you would have known the solution to every puzzle, which would mean that you also knew how to get out of the wheelhouse. All you had to do was place the watch in the indentation on the door to unlock it. With the door open, you could enter the captain's quarters. Musashido was there. Conveniently placed next to him was an axe that practically begged you to kill him with it. You picked up that axe and buried the blade deep in the other man's chest. One blow was all it took, and then you returned to the chart room as if nothing had happened.
There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Could you come with me for a moment?
I had no reason to say no, so I followed you to the wheelhouse. When we stepped inside, remember how you slipped your hand into my vest? You pulled out a piece of paper, the one I used to cheat during the vote. But that wasn't really what you were after.
Oh, I love how Junpei finally doubted himself, just like, oh wait, yeah, I forgot to mention this. I cheated during the vote, guys.
Your true purpose had been to slip the watch into my pocket. It wasn't a very good plan. Had way too many holes, and someone saying the wrong thing could have brought it all down around you. You must have been desperate.
Yeah, he's invested in clothes that blood doesn't stick to,
What
exactly.
made you willing to risk it all to do it? Ace.
That was the only thing Junpei hadn't been able to figure out.
Musashido's murder is the only one I don't understand. You obviously did it. But why?
Because of this.
Slowly, Ace reached down and pulled something out of his pocket. It was a folded piece of paper.
What's with the paper?
Just read it.
Junpei took it and opened it.
Let's see.
This is what it said.
Number 1. There are 2 ways you might survive this ordeal. The first is to win the Nonary game. The second is for you to confess your sins of 9 years past. I have prepared a camera in the captain's quarters. The images captured by that camera will be streamed through a satellite and distributed across the world. Simply look into the camera and repent. Once you have confessed everything, I will release you from this ship. To make your confession more credible, I have left you a witness in the captain's quarters. Perhaps he will confess with you. The decision is yours. Do as you please. 0.
When I awoke in that room on D-Deck, I found that in my pocket. That was why I chose door 1 when we voted. If I went through that door, I knew I could get to the captain's quarters. As you said, I knew how to enter the wheelhouse. My plan was to find the pocket watch before anyone else. If I could, then my alibi would be set. At least, that was the plan. Unfortunately for me, you got to it first. That sleight of hand was the best I could manage on short notice.
You meant to kill him from the beginning then? Musashido, I mean.
I only knew Musashido was the witness after I reached the captain's quarters. I asked him, and he answered. He seemed groggy. Perhaps he had only just awoken from sedation. I suppose Nijisaki was in much the same state. He seemed confused and disoriented when I encountered him. But yes, you are correct. I intended to kill him from the beginning, even though I didn't know who he was. I proceeded to the captain's quarters in order to remove this so-called witness.
Ace had confessed everything. What energy had left with him with the truth? What energy he had left him with the truth, and he sagged to his knees. Though he had confessed, his sins were not forgiven. Junpei felt revulsion for the pathetic man on the floor near his feet, but among the revulsion was a hint of pity. After all, Ace had not been the only person who had murdered those 3 men. Junpei spoke quietly.
Ace, you figured it out, haven't you? You were being manipulated.
Yes, so it would seem. I was little more than a puppet, in many ways. Everywhere I went, everything was already prepared. The Reds in the large hospital room were dismantled. Nijisaki was dressed like Snake. There was an axe in the captain's quarters. Musashido was delirious from the anesthetic, so he couldn't fight back. Nijisaki as well. In retrospect, I can't understand how I could have fallen into such a simple trap. But yes, this was a trap. It was Zero's trap. And I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I did everything he wanted me to do.
Yeah. By manipulating you, Zero was able to kill 3 people and keep the blood off his own hands. All of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why this nonary game happened. Am I right, Santa?
Oh yeah, now we're finally going to talk about that. As Junpei spoke, he stood up, his legs still shaky.
Huh? What the hell are you talking about? I don't know any...
Ain't no point trying to play dumb anymore, Santa. Actually, I guess I should call you Aoi Kurashiki, huh?
Seven's face was sad as he
My memory
spoke.
came back to me, kid. You're Aoi Kurashiki, no doubt about it. Never thought I'd be back in this room talking to you. But hey, I guess this was all part of your plan, right? After all, the person who planned the nonary game this time around was Zero, and Zero's you.
Looks like you really do have your memories back, huh?
Yeah, Seven's smile was sarcastic, and something else.
Well, I guess there's no point in hiding it then, huh? Yeah, you got me. I'm Aoi Kurishi. I was one of the kids in the nonary game 9 years ago. I made it out. So did Snake over there.
Hello.
But there's one thing... No, I guess there's 2 things you got wrong. Number 1, I ain't Zero.
Okay. Who are you then?
Wait, what?
Sure, I was helping Zero out, but I'm really more of an assistant, like a secretary.
I am the Zero Secretary. I am .5.
But an assistant's only an assistant. I didn't come up with all this. All I did was follow Zero's orders.
Then, if you're not Zero, who is?
Calm down there, Junpei. Didn't I say 2 things?
Yeah.
You made one more mistake. Junpei, you just said, all of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago.
Yes.
That's why this nonary game happened.
I mean, that's what it seemed like.
That's not it. Revenge isn't the only purpose.
Okay, what is the
There's
real
another
purpose?
reason you guys were playing the nonary game. To save someone.
We killed 3 people. I think we failed in that regard.
Save someone?
Right. You were brought here to help my sister.
Akane?
To save Akane.
Akane's right over there. She's already saved.
What the hell are you talking about? Akane Kurashiki died 9 years ago in this room. I was there. I saw...
Suddenly, Seven froze. His eyes went as wide as dinner plates, and he spun around towards June. Junpei followed his gaze.
What?
She was gone. Where June had been, there was nothing.
What the hell? Where is she? Where's Akane Kurashiki?
Seven began to mumble to himself. A strange series of words sprung together as if his mind wasn't functioning properly. His face was twisted with effort, as though he were struggling with something they couldn't see. He gritted his teeth and pressed his hands against the sides of his head.
Oh, my head! My head, it feels like it's gonna pop.
Seven! What the hell is going on?
I don't know, I just... Oh! I swear to God, my head feels like it's about to explode!
From somewhere far away, they all heard a deep, heavy noise. It sounded like a tremendous wheel slowly beginning to turn. Netta seemed to have entered an almost trance-like state. His words were calm and measured.
What was the nonary project? I'm sure you know already, but I'll tell you one more time. It was a project designed to test a particular phenomenon. And what was that phenomenon?
Morphogenetic
For 2
fields.
organisms to communicate with one another in the absence of physical contact. The morphogenetic field theory. Could human beings use these invisible fields to exchange information? That was what this experiment was conducted to determine. There were 2 separate locations. One was the Gigantic, and the other was a building in Nevada called Building Q. The 9 children trapped in Building Q were faced with numerous puzzles, copies of identical ones on the Gigantic. They were told to send their answers into the morphic field set and transmit them to their brothers and sisters on the Gigantic.
But there was a problem.
The transmitters were put in Building Q, and the receivers were put on the Gigantic. Each sibling pair was supposed to be split up, but
There was... Yep.
there was a mistake. Akane was a transmitter. She should have been in Building Q, However, for some reason, she was placed on the gigantic with the receivers, like me. Perhaps she was mistaken for someone who was supposed to be in Group A. Whatever the case, Akane ended up on the gigantic. I think I've told you enough. You get it, don't you? I'm pretty sure you know where this is going, Junpei.
Where what is going?
Don't play dumb. You know things you shouldn't. Things you couldn't. How did you know Ace had prosopagnosia? How did you know why Ace wanted to kill Kubota and how Nichisaki was killed? Were you surprised when you found out Ace was Hongo? And what about the coffin Snake was trapped in? How the hell did you open it?
Clover had the answer in her pocket. That's how we opened it. Oh wait, we just ignored that part of the story entirely.
Well, that's...
The answer to that is easy. He knew because I knew. Junpei was receiving information that I sent to him through the morphic field set. It's simple, really. How do I know the alternate futures, then? Imagine a river that splits in two, like an upside-down Y. The river flows from the top to the bottom, from a single stream into two branches. It only flows in one direction. It can never flow backwards. Information is the same way. It moves from the past to the future, but it never flows backwards. That's why people at the river's source in the past will never know about those downstream in the future. But the people downstream will never know about the other either. Information only flows along the path of the river, but I am different. I can manipulate the morphic field set to pluck knowledge from the future. I know what happens on either fork of the river, even though the people on either fork know nothing about one another. Now, who am I? I am I, the 9th letter of the alphabet. But I am also 0. No, that's not true. I'm not really 0. Not yet. Perhaps you can say that I am less than 0. I am -9. 0 is my future. In 9 years, I will be 0. Okay, I can't switch to novel mode. Well, where did she go? June. No, Akane. Where did you go?
Santa!
Why's Clover? Oh shit.
Freeze.
Santa's got the gun. Guess he picked it up when we weren't watching. So yeah, I think the point of it is like, the novel mode is supposed to be, whoever I is, or past 0, and that's how they're seeing everything, whereas adventure mode is supposed to be just from Junpei's standpoint. It looked like he's turned the tables on Ace, though. I wonder how he likes having a gun to his head. Santa isn't about to take the gun off him for a minute, is he? Ace isn't putting any kind of fight. I mean, I don't think he would either, but he looks so drained. Guess he's going for the door, huh? He doesn't need to verify to go through that door, but...
Hey, what's your plan, Santa? What are you doing?
You gonna get through any number of doors with just 2 people. What the hell is he thinking?
Didn't I tell you? I'm Santa Claus. It's time for me to go make a wish come true.
Oh boy. That's it? That's all he's gonna give us? What the hell does that even mean? Shit, they're out. And now the gate's shut. Looks like the rest of us are stuck in here. They're all looking at me. At least Seven's headache is gone. He seems to be alright. Well, I guess there's no harm in trying. Let's see if the door still opens.
Well, it looks like this door isn't opening anytime soon.
Oh.
You mean we're trapped?
Yes.
So it would seem.
What the hell is Santa trying to do?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, what?
Have you considered where we are?
We're in an
There
incinerator.
can really only be one thing Santa would do now.
Burn us alive.
No, you can't be serious.
Oh, but he is. Shit, we gotta do something. Maybe we can still get out through the 9 door. There's the red. Yeah, alright, we can do this. I just gotta... Oh, it's not gonna work. There's no way. The 5 of us can't open this door. 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8 is 26. 2 plus 6 is 8. Is there any combination that will work?
Junpei, can I borrow your pen and notebook?
Sure, why not? I don't think I'm gonna need them. Ever again. Well, she certainly looks purposeful. Looks like she's writing equations. A lot of them. Aw, man, she doesn't look very happy. Hey, no need to be ripping pages out like that. Jeez.
What the hell are you doing, Clover? Give me that!
Alright, at least 7 got it away from her. Maybe I can get a look at what she was writing. Let's see.
Huh.
2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 is 18.
What? And there's no other way?
Lotus. We have the 6 bracelet. We have that O bracelet. Maybe that could work. Looks like she'd figured it out, though. Man, this is just too cruel.
Okay.
Lotus.
Come on, you know we can't do that.
Oh, don't give me that. I'm sure you'd love to get rid of me.
Oh, no.
God damn it, you idiot!
Oh, where the hell did that come from? It's like she expected that about as much as I did.
If you're not... Look, it'd be bad, alright?
Her cop, he sure doesn't have much confidence.
Yeah. If there weren't assholes like you around, I'd be out of a job.
Uh-huh.
Look, I'm just not leaving you behind, alright? End of story.
7.
He's right. I'm not leaving you either.
Me too.
You didn't honestly think I'd abandon you, did you?
You're all idiots.
Yes, we are. A+ pickup line. Act as tough as you want, Lotus. We can see you're about to cry.
That being said, however, I doubt we would be able to open the door anyway, even if we were to leave Lotus behind.
Yeah, because it didn't work when Ace was making up the 9.
I trust you remember what happened to Ace? I couldn't, see exactly what happened, but I was able to guess what he was attempting to do earlier, at the Red.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
No! What is this? Why? The digital route should be 9! It has to be 9! Then why? Why isn't it opening?
Just to see. Why don't we give it a shot?
Yeah, might as well.
Shot.
Yes, that is what I said.
We're not gonna leave, Lotus, but we're gonna check this. Two plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9.
You were right.
It ain't opening.
But it did open 9 years ago. The digital route was 9 then, I'm sure of it.
You think maybe they changed the settings?
Perhaps.
Shit. Can't get through the door, and we can't get out. Walls are way too high. There's no way hell we could do what we could get to the hole 7 popped out of 9 years ago. All we can do is stand here and stare at this door with a 9 on it. Guess this is it. This is the end. Akane vision. I was watching. I had watched everything that was reflected in his eyes. I was listening. Every sound that vibrated in his eardrums, I heard. Smell, taste, touch. I felt everything he felt. I knew. I knew that everything about him. What he was thinking, what he was feeling, what he was sensing. All of his feelings and worries and fears became mine. My mind, my consciousness was inside of him. Through the morphic field said we were resonant. We were as one. I was him, and at the same time I was an observer. Started with a tremendous noise, like a clap of thunder. That was approximately 9 hours ago. A bomb had gone off on the ship we were on. That was when my resonance with him began. My resonant event melted into him and we became one. Inside of Junpei. Somehow I found myself in Junpei's mind 9 years in the future. But I didn't lose myself. I was living in 2 realities at once. One was the present, and one was the other was the future. Perhaps you can think of it as 2 movies showing on the same screen at the same time. Eventually, it becomes difficult to separate them and determine which movie is which. However, if I concentrated, I was able to focus on one or the other. That was why I was able to grasp what was happening in the front of me.
Come on, over here!
That was my brother, Aoi. He was yelling. I followed him. Around me were 7 other children. They all looked like they were about my age.
Come on, hurry up!
Ran down a long straight hallway and burst through the large hospital room. Everyone was arguing. Two of the boys got in a fistfight. A girl watching them began to cry. "I want to go home," she cried. "I want to go home." Another girl slapped the crying girl and glared down at her. It has been 2 hours since the nunnery game began. We were starting to fall apart. Just when all hope seemed lost, Light started talking. He was blind. 9 years ago, we would call him Snake.
Hello?
9 years later.
Everyone? Could you come over here for a moment?
He was older than most of us, and his voice had authority and dignity. The fights died down, and we gathered around him.
I have a little sister. She is very important to me. Right now, she is over in Building Q, and is desperately trying to send information over to me. Her name is Clover, and today is her 9th birthday.
Can we talk for a moment about how Clover made her code name her actual name? I wanted to talk about that since the beginning because it's so silly and I love it. As he spoke, he pulled something out from his pocket. His hands were 9 four-leaf clovers.
I was going to give these to her as a birthday present. I was outside picking them when I was abducted. I'm sure I've already told you, but I am blind. For a man who can't see, collecting 9 of a very specific plant is... well, it
Big
is
brain
difficult.
plays, exactly.
But my sister means a great deal to me. And I hope that these would show her how much I cared for her. Since it's her 9th birthday, I thought 9 four-leaf clovers would be appropriate. Every one of you has a brother or a sister in Building Q with Clover.
Not all of them. Not all of them. Apparently, they messed up, and somehow they put 2 siblings in Building A and 2 siblings in Building Q. Or in the Gigantic in Building Q.
For their sake, we have to survive. We have to get off this ship. Do you understand? If we're going to do that, there are 3 things you have to remember. We need trust and love, and we have to have faith in one another. If we can take all 3 of those to heart, then I promise that good luck will come our way. Did you know that the leaves on the 4-leaf clover mean faith, trust, love, and luck? Those words are leaf words. So if you believe what I've told you, and you understand, then I want you each to have one of these. They're a promise between friends.
Oh. Gave a clover to each of us. I took one too. Eventually, he was left with only a single 4-leaf clover. He had one last thing to say.
Don't ever forget. So long as you have that,
Trust,
we will
love, and
always
little
be
pixie
connected.
dust. When he finished, the tension of only a few minutes ago was gone. We were calm. After that, we ran around the ship for a while longer, and opened several of the numbered doors until we finally found a door with the number 9 on it. In fact, there were 2 doors with 9 on them, and we found them in the chapel. We split into 2 groups and walked through the doors. Again, the chapel section seems really bad because, like, they talked about just like, oh, they couldn't leave it to luck. That wouldn't make any sense. But they still kind of leave it to luck because what if the group that went through one of the doors happened to have the Uranus key, but they went through the door that didn't lead to the Uranus door? Then how could anybody complete the library? Nobody, they couldn't get the Neptune key and they couldn't leave because they took the wrong door. For some reason, this room had another number 9, but this time it was only 1. If there was only 1 door, that meant only 5 people could escape.
What are we gonna do? There aren't any other doors.
We began to panic. Then, as if things had not gone bad enough already,
Warning. Warning. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged. Automatic incineration will take place in 18 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately. Repeat. Emergency incineration command has been acknowledged.
What? What's happening? What did that thing say? That didn't sound good.
my brother Aoi swallowed hard and answered.
I think it means this room is gonna burn.
Burn!
The plaque on the door says incinerator, and that voice said that the incineration is about to start, and incinerate means to burn.
No! Help me!
Abject terror filled the room as everyone began to scream and cry. Every pair of eyes were filled with despair. Then, high up on the wall, a door opened and a man appeared. He was a huge, frightening mountain of a man, as large as a bear. 9 years later, we would call him 7.
Don't worry, kids. I'm not your enemy. I'm one of the good guys. I'm a detective. I'm here to rescue you.
The rest happened just like 7 had said it did. The 4 of us who stayed behind were saved by 7. We crawled through the vent, away from the incinerator, and slid down into the hallway. We came out on the other side of the door 9. On the wall opposite the door was a set of double doors. Went through those and began to run up the spiral stairs. As we ran, I led the way. Behind me were Nona, my brother, Aoi, Snake, and 7. The other children, the ones who'd gone through door 9 before, were up ahead. I could hear them cheering each other on. We ran and ran and ran. We leapt across as many stairs as we could and kept running. The stairs spiraled upward like a tornado. Eventually, I pulled ahead of the rest. Perhaps Nona had slowed them down. I didn't want to lose them, so I slowed down as well. I didn't stop, but I glanced over my shoulder from time to time to see if they had caught up. That was when I realized.
No, where is it? Did I drop Jumpy's present?
I knew I had had it with me when we passed through the vent. Then, had I dropped it as we slid out? I had to go back. I had to. But I knew I couldn't tell the others. It would stop me, I was sure of it. I didn't stop to think, I simply moved. I ran to the central hall, the room that connected to all the other areas of the ship. I hid in the shadows, and moments later I felt a rush of wind as they ran past me up the staircase. I waited until they were out of sight, and then I ran. I moved quietly as I could, down and down and down. Finally, I reached the bottom deck. I ran to the hallway and looked around frantically.
There it is!
It was just where I thought it would be, sitting under the opening of the vent. I ran over and snatched it up from the floor, but as I ran back towards the staircase in freedom... All for $1, Akane? You idiot! The door of the incinerator opened and a man stepped out. It was Hongo. Gintaro Hongo. 9 years later, we would call him Ace.
Ah, how wonderful to see you decided to come back.
His smile made my blood run cold. It looked mechanical, as if someone had simply pulled up the corners of his mouth.
With me. We must continue the experiment.
I shook my head, eyes wide. Slowly I began to walk backwards. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Then I spun around and broke into a run. I felt Hongo's hand close over my left wrist.
I said, come with me.
There was an edge of insanity to his voice now. I pulled as hard as I could.
No, stop! Let go of me!
I shook my body and flailed my arms, trying desperately to get Hongo to let go of me. But I was still only a child. I was no match for a man like Hongo.
Stop struggling, goddammit! Do as I tell you!
He heaved onto my arm, trying to pull me into the incinerator. I screamed.
Help me! Somebody help me!
Then suddenly,
Akane!
the door to the stairs flew open, and my brother Aoi burst out of it. Behind him came 7 and Snake.
Akane!
He cried my name again as he leapt toward Hongo.
You came back!
I cried out, but then
You're too late, idiot!
Hongo threw his full weight against my arm, pulling us both into the incinerator. The force of it threw me to the floor. I scrambled to my feet and looked toward the open number 9 door. Hongo stood between me and it. Behind him I could see my brother, his fists clench. Those fists never reach Hongo. With the cold, heartless screech of metal on metal, the door slammed shut. Hongo glanced at me mechanically, his face registering that there was an object there, but not anything he would consider a human being. Then he turned away and walked to the Reds and sat next to the door. He reached into his pocket and removed 2 bracelets. He waved them both over the scanner panel. 2 asterisks appeared on the red. He checked the screen and tossed the bracelets carelessly on the floor. What was he doing? What was the point? He made no effort to explain himself, of course. He said nothing at all and walked past me, as though I were nothing more than a rock by the roadside. A few minutes later... the other 2 doors slid shut as well. Faintly, I could hear someone pounding on the door behind me. I turned around and ran towards the door with the 9.
Akane! Akane! Are you okay?
I could hear a voice from the other side of the door. A worried, frightened voice.
Help me!
My throat was already raw, but I screamed as loud as I could. My voice echoed lonely throughout around the empty room.
What should I do? I think I'm trapped in here.
Where's Hongo?
He went out the other door.
What?
Then it started again.
Warning. Warning. Emergency Incineration Command has been acknowledged. Incineration will begin in 18 minutes. Please evacuate the incinerator immediately.
Holy shit. Man, I knew what it was gonna say, but this was one hell of a creepy voice.
I knew it.
It's starting.
Santa started the incinerator.
Fuck! Man, I never thought I'd hear that damn voice again after 9 years.
What the hell? What the hell? What in God's name are you talking about?
Lotus, remember your daughter Nona? Yeah, she was here.
It's 9 years this and 9 years that, and when it's not 9 years something, then you're talking about some sort of fucking experiments. You aren't making any sense.
I'm sorry, Lotus, but we really don't have time to explain it right now.
She's not actually going to... We don't actually know that her daughters were part of the experiment in this timeline, do we?
I promise. I'll tell you everything once we get out of here.
But...
Incineration will begin in 17 minutes.
You know what that means, right? Incinerate means burn.
What kind of idiot do you think I am? I know what incinerate means.
Gosh, I know what incinerate means.
Well,
God damn it. Okay, fine. I won't ask anything else. Talk about whatever you want. But you have to do something for me. 7, figure this out.
What? Why me?
Just shut up and stop this thing.
How the hell?
There has to be some sort of emergency shut-off button.
There isn't anything like that.
How the hell do you know?
I was here 9 years ago.
Because I looked for it 9 years ago.
Well, maybe you missed something. Yeah, Lotus isn't happy about that. Can't really blame her. Wait. The floor. It's moving. What else could I say about it, bud?
What the hell is that?
what is that?
What else could I say? The floor opened and a machine rose up out of it. It looked like a computer. At least, it kind of did. There was a monitor, a keyboard, and a cross-shaped device of some kind. Something about the machine scared me, but I forced myself to walk up to it. I was terrified. Tears poured down my face. I wiped them off even as more took their place, and forced myself forward. Finally, I reached it. I looked at the screen. It was blank. All I saw was my own frightened face staring back at me from the glass, drenched in tears. All I can see in the screen is a reflection of my own face. I'm looking kind of freaked out. I know I'm sweating like crazy, but seeing it kind of drives it home. Hey, Junpei, just calm down, alright? Everything's gonna be okay. Gah! Man, I wish this thing would just shut up.
Incineration will begin in 15 minutes.
Alright, back to this thing. It's only showing up now, then it's gotta be important. What the hell am I supposed to do with it?
Hey, move!
Gah! Hey, we're all tense, lady. It doesn't mean you have to shove people around.
There's nothing on the screen, though. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. If there's nothing on here, how are we supposed to do anything with it?
Sure, I'll just push buttons and see if that'll... Hey, it worked. Alright, at least we're here now. What's on the screen, though?
This?
What's up?
Remember when this used to be a Sudoku?
It looks like some sort of puzzle.
It's got a bunch of numbers and letters scattered across a 5x5 grid. Numbers range from 1 to 8.
Do you think that if we solve this puzzle...
The incinerator will stop? Yeah. Well, we can hope, right?
Alright, puzzle, how do you work? Oh man, that's goddamn voice again.
Incineration will begin in 13 minutes.
Shit, 13 minutes. Can we really do this? My heart feels like it's gonna pop. My heart was pounding like it was about to explode. I stared at the puzzle on the screen. I was sure I had to solve it somehow, but I had no idea how. My connection to Jumpy had gone for a while. His mind was gone. I couldn't get any more information from him. I felt the seconds tick by as I stared at the screen, completely lost. My cheeks felt hot as tears poured down over them. Then I heard a voice.
Hey, what are you doing?
It was muffled. I turned around. Pressed against the window in the entry door was a face, a frightening, evil face. It was Hongo. How long had he been watching me?
Don't know what to do?
He was yelling, but his voice was still muffled.
It's simple, really. But I suppose I might as well tell you. Just solve the puzzle on that machine.
His laughter was muffled by the door, but it still tore at my heart like the claws of a vicious monster. I bit my lips and glared at Hongo, struggling to hold back hot tears.
You're a terrible person! I hate you!
Oh my! How could you call a gentleman such as myself a terrible person? That's not very nice.
You're not acting very gentlemanly. Hongo. In order to be a gentleman, you're supposed to open the door for the lady and let them go through. That's how this is supposed to work. Honestly, making her open the door yourself, man, so selfish. Chivalry really is dead.
I'm quite fair. I don't use tricks or play dirty. You see? I've even left you a way out.
A way out?
Yes, seek it.
Didn't you hear me? All you have to do is solve that puzzle. Do that, and you can stop the incinerator.
What's the point of stopping it? You'll only capture me and make me do this all again. I'm not going to listen to you. If you're just going to throw me back in here, I might as well just die now.
My goodness, haven't you listened to anything I've said? I told you, I'm a fair man.
Shut up.
Huh?
If you solve the puzzle, the verification function of the red will in turn activate. If this experiment is to deliver valid results, there must be a chance of success. If you succeed, you will escape.
Yeah. I thought being a gentleman meant solving anything reminds me of a puzzle. This reminds me of a puzzle.
The verification function of the red?
Then I remembered. Before Hongo left the room, he had scanned 2 bracelets onto the red.
Ah, so you do remember. Right now there are 2 numbers in the red. The first is 1, and the second is 3. Say, Akane, what's your number?
How did he know? I love how this person with prosopagnosia was apparently knew that this person is Akane. Face on the bracelet showed a 5. Aw, that's cute. I ran to the door with a 9 on it. Grabbed the red, put my hand up to the scanner panel.
You really aren't one for listening, are you?
No. Heard Hongo's muffled voice from across the room.
I've already told you, didn't I? Once you solve the puzzle, the verification function of the red will activate. In other words, if you haven't solved the puzzle, you can't enter your number. What kind of fool are you?
Why are you doing this?
You could never understand. You don't know what it's like to spend every day surrounded by monkeys. Now start the experiment. Solve the puzzle.
I can't! I don't know how!
It's just a Sudoku. It's really easy.
Of course you don't. Isn't that the point? You understand, don't you? Access the morphogenetic field and find the solution.
I can't!
You put me in the wrong building.
Then you'll die. You'll burn alive. It's gonna be quite hot in there in a few minutes.
Wow! What an ass!
I imagine it will be very painful.
His horrible laugh echoed across the room, and even after his face disappeared from the window, I could hear it.
Incineration will begin in 10 minutes.
Hi, Joker. Yeah, okay, this might take a bit longer than for me. I was crying, great gulping sobs broken by hiccups that shook my body, because, wow, really? Still have that much more? Oh god. I was terrified. I could feel my face pressing down on... Feel my fear pressing down on me like a tremendous weight. Someone forced my shaking legs to carry me back into the devices. I stared at the monitor.
I can't. I just can't. There's no way. I can't figure this out.
If only this were a Sudoku, that would be easy! What was I gonna do? I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't even know where to start. Fear scattered my thoughts, and all I could think of was how I was going to die. How long the true ending is from start in real life, assuming you let voices play properly and you do the puzzles kind of fast. Yeah, it would be interesting. I doubt it will be 9 hours. Kind of hot. So hot. I couldn't breathe. I felt dizzy. My heart roared in my chest as if it would pound itself to pieces. I reached into my pocket. I wrapped my hand around the thing I'd come back to get. The doll Jumpy had given me. At least I had that. I held it tight with both hands and prayed.
Help me, Jumpy. Help me. Help me. Help me. Jumpy. 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 Please. Help me.
Help me.
Jumpy.
We're back to Junpei vision.
Akane!
Who the hell is Akane?
June.
Shut up! Just shut the hell up!
Seven Lotus don't understand. I think Clover and Snake have an idea, though. Clover's looking at me. And I think Snake may have figured it out. No, it doesn't matter. They're in my way. But there's a lot of time skipping in the game, like exploring and stuff. Yeah, that too. Where'd you go? Maybe over there?
Akane! Akane! Can you hear me? Akane! Say something!
Fuck. Fuck, did something break our connection? I swear, I just heard her. Shit.
Akane! Answer me! Akane!
Jumpy?
I spun around. I heard a voice. His voice. I looked around. He wasn't in the room, of course. But I heard it so clearly. Like he was right there.
Jumpy!
I screamed as loud as I could.
Akane!
Jumpy!
Inuyasha Kagome! It's her, she's there. Then that means...
Akane! Akane!
Akane, can you read my mind and figure out that I'm trying to ask if you're an incinerator? If you're in an incinerator right now?
Yes, I am! How did you know?
We're psychic, that's how. I couldn't believe he'd known that. Now I understand what Santa meant.
There's only one way to help her. You were brought here to help my sister. To save Akane.
I think I get it now.
Incineration will begin in 7 minutes.
7 minutes is all I can spare to play with you.
Jumpy, we don't have time!
As quickly as I could, I told him that I had to solve the puzzle in order to stop the incinerator.
Got it!
And I do. I get everything now. At last I finally understand what all this means. I know why the Nonary game was held today. I know why we were kidnapped and brought here. It was all for this moment. All of this was planned out to lead to this one moment. Oh my god. This is insane. I can't believe it that there's only one possible answer. June is, Zero is, Akane Kurashiki. She recreated the history of the future she had a glimpse of 9 years ago. She tried to save herself that way 9 years ago. No, she's trying to save herself right now. That means that there's only one thing for me to do. Even if this is all some sort of insane plan, I will save her. I will save Akane Kurashiki. I must save her, no matter what.
Incineration will begin in 6 minutes.
The voice reminded me of how much time I had left.
Yeah, I know. Just hang on, all right? I promise I'll get you out of there. I'm not gonna let you die. I promise. So don't worry, all right? Just give me a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
My voice shook as I answered. It was hot in the room. It felt like my heart was on fire. 6 minutes or not, my heart burned with my feelings for him. Alright, time to get to work, Junpei. Snake talking to them about something? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Get out of my way.
Hey, what are you...
Just trust me, okay?
Sorry, Lotus, I didn't mean to snap, but there isn't a lot of stake. There's a lot more at stake here than your pride. I'll apologize later, alright? Now let's have a look at this thing. We got numbers all over this grid. I think the panels are out of order. Just need to switch these out? Staring at it isn't going to accomplish anything. No clue what I'm looking at. This used to be a Sudoku, so it actually made sense. Just have to try it.
Think of what I did all those times before. I'm gonna do this on my own, with my own mind. I'm gonna solve this problem.
Seek a way out. Also, Juker, the reason you don't know anything is because, you haven't been paying attention. Do. Yay! Please enter the password. What is... 1 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8. Is that your final answer?
Yes, that's it. Akane, did you get it?
I'm gonna go grab someone else for dumb.
I solved it! I mean, really, you solved it for me, but I copied everything you did!
There's probably gonna be a bit more time. I feel like this game lost something in the PC port compared to the DS version. Hold on, let me check a thing real quick. I want to see how much longer it would take from this point. Okay, apparently from here there's another 33 minutes. There's still gonna be a lot of time from whenever I have to do, the knife ending. Nah, I think what a terrible point to stop.
Now I just have to press
Oopsie. Oh no. Everything's blowing up. Oh, and I completely removed Twitch chat on my end. Whoops. I probably have that up. You want to keep going, then go. No, I think I'll end here. Bye. Yeah, we're gonna be how did I bork it? Because I started clicking on buttons on my controller when I was trying to do the game, but I was still tabbed on to chat. So I somehow managed to click the close button. But yeah. So that's gonna be it for today. We'll finish because we're still gonna have a lot of time with this. 30 minutes for this, and then however long the knife ending actually takes us. Yes, the close button. Yeah. We're gonna be tomorrow we'll be starting up Hat in Time. Thursday we're gonna finish everything here. Sorry for the terrible ending. But we're gonna be doing something on Juku's channel, which is actually who we're gonna be quote unquote raiding. Juker, start up the stream so I can just do the raid. No. Okay. Alright then. Just disperse then. Bye. Farewell.